Welcome to Combox. Jared and Glenn coming at you. We tried to do a show together the other day, me and Glenn's entire face was pixelated. I thought he looked better then than he does now, but he's decided to come across anyway with this inferior face. We have Mumbai versus Punjab. I haven't looked at the odds or anything, Glenn, but I'm assuming... Oh, it's pretty even, actually. Market's not sure where this one's going to go at the moment. And let me just see if I can bring up the expected runs before we start. 206 is the expected runs.
Yeah. Technically, 34 games played against each other, 17-17, 5 games at this venue, both of them 5 by Mumbai, 5-1 by Punjab. Looks like an interesting battle. Rohit Sharma out due to a hamstring injury. Now everyone knows that, and he's probably not playing the next match. Also, Rickleton and QDK in his place, and Mayank Markande has been replaced by another Mayank, Mayank Rawat, who's going to be playing today.
Just on the row here, it is funny that the first time the guy decides to get really cut and fit, he does a soft tissue issue almost straight away, right? Hey, this is why sometimes it's better not to be fit, everyone. No one wants to admit this.
But watching Rohit Sharma and his prowess, I've fallen in love with him after the 2023 World Cup. The way he played and set the template during that time, he'd come clobber it in the power play, work his way up, give the batters ahead an equal amount of opportunity to just go easy, and he wouldn't care of his records. He wouldn't care of anything. He would just be there, clobbering every ball in that power play and giving India that required start. Yes, we agree. Then
this first one to Rickleton from Arshdeep just swings away, and Rickleton pushes at it, and no contact.
We're still buffering in mine.
Well, at least I can see your face, even if we can't see you can't see the cricket.
All right.
Oh, actually, he's here. Is he? No, he's not here. We can't hear him.
Akshay, what's up? Akshay, we can't hear you.
Is it better now? Hello.
Yes, there he is.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, I'm great. How are you, Glenn? First time, I guess we're meeting directly on a watch along. So that's great, I guess.
Yeah, man. Really happy to have you here. Finally, we've made it. Actually, there's a lot of. I think there's a bit of an ambient sound.
Oh no!
Just a second, I'll fix
that.
Now.
I'm just having a look at the betting market. Someone put on. Yeah, it looks like people have put on a lot of money on Mumbai just very late before this game, which is fascinating. And then suddenly when the toss came, it went in the other direction. And now that the ball's swinging, everyone's getting on Punjab at the moment. So fascinating, like a little ripple. So what did I say it was? It was 206 expected runs, 3 dot balls all swinging away from Rickleton's bat, and it's now coming crashing down every minute. So big changes in the market as we go through, and that's because Arshdeep's bowling so well. So they've Sorry, go.
I also feel there's a big chasing advantage over here, especially at the Wankhede. We saw it in the last game also because the dew factor that obviously comes into play. And
another player missed, by the way. 4 in a row.
4 dot balls. Interesting.
Yep. And so in 4 balls, the expected runs has gone from 206 to 197. So 9 runs have dropped off. So everyone's looking at this going, this might not be the wicket we want. I'll tell you the other thing about Mumbai, though. Mumbai's really funny. We call it a Mumbai tax. Every time a game is traded with Mumbai in it, generally Mumbai are favourites even when they don't deserve to be, right? Just because there's so much money bet on these games. I'm looking at some of these bets, as I said. We're talking about 500k, 800k individual bets coming into on them, as this one's pushed out on the offside. And it should also be mentioned, all those people are now in the wrong position because instantly those bets would have gone into the red because of everything that's happened in the last couple of minutes with these balls swinging away. So 5 dot balls. 5 dot balls.
6 dot balls. It's a maiden. It's a maiden over.
How are you guys 6 balls? And I just saw the 4th ball being bowled. I can't believe
Listen, so Jared is moving I think he's
5 dot balls. The last ball was a single.
And was it?
Yeah. Unless cricket info is lying to you.
First tell us what kind of internet speed are you using? What is it about your internet speed that is taking you so ahead if it's time? Do you have like a crystal ball that you can actually predict what's going to happen next? Like,
Yeah,
just
I've
be
always
honest and
said
tell
this.
us.
I can just look into the future. It's very simple, and I know what's going to happen.
By the way, that's very kind of Hurt's manager there. Betting $10 on Jared, Glenn, and Akshay to provide a game show. Chalo, that's great to hear.
We'll give it our
By
best.
the way, what are the changes? Yeah, what are the changes for Mumbai? I saw two of them. Are those the
Yeah.
only changes? Mayank Rawat and who? Quinton de
Rawat
Kock,
in
of course,
place of
coming in.
Markande and Kock in place of Rohit Sharma.
So wait, Santner's also missing out, right? Who's the overseas
Yeah.
player who's come in? No one?
No. So I think what will happen is while they bowl, Trent Bolt may come in.
Acha. They've gone for rather for. Oh, okay, Deepak Chahar's also in the 11.
Yes. Yes. So Trent Bolt may come in once they
Oh,
start bowling.
Oh,
got it, got it,
oh,
got
is
it.
Marco Janssen might have injured himself here, guys. He's run in to bowl the first ball. Oh no, I think he's okay. I think it fell out of his hands. He just pulled up like there was something going on with his hip. In fact, there is something going on with his hip, but it might be that his trousers are uncomfortable because he's now playing with his shirt in his trousers. Let me. Oh, I thought they were going to show it again. Oh no, he does. He definitely just drops the ball on the way in, which is absolutely fine. You used to be able to hit those, of course. Only a few years ago in cricket, you could have whacked that away, and now it's a dead ball. Boring.
What is Yeah, the funny part is Jared is getting to see all of this like I think 10 seconds before we do it. Then after he gives us all this feel about what's happened, it is the two of us who are reacting to it, and then probably Akshay is reacting to it at the very end of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
I've
help it if
told
you guys are
Jared.
watching on a potato.
No, I've told Jared I'm essentially I essentially have front row tickets to watch along. I'm just like the other viewers watching it through Jared's opinion. It's through Jared's eyes. It's just that I get to talk to Jared as well. That's the only difference.
If I had to poetically put it, we're vicariously living this match through Jared's eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Essentially.
I think that's the scariest thing anyone could ever have, if we're being honest. Janssen comes in again. This is outside of stump. It's slashed up in the air, and that could be 6 over point. I think it is, in fact. Whoa, what a strike that is. So that was Quinton de Kock. Was that his first ball? Oh, why not? First ball in the IPL this year, I want to say, guys.
Hmm.
Why not hit it for 6 over point?
I mean, he's got a thing or
Yeah.
two to prove, especially since he's confirmed that he wants to come back for South Africa at least. So
Mhm.
let's see how that goes.
Talking about hey, that's a six. He's
Jared
back.
must be
Talking about
thinking, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and we might
okay,
get another boundary
consider
here. It's an all South African affair. Marco Janssen bowling to Rickleton and de Kock, and he gets this a little bit too straight. I've got a theory that Marco Janssen's not very good with a brand new ball because he doesn't control it as well. And so far in this game, he's dropped it, bowled a wide half volley hit for 6, and now bowled leg bias down the leg side.
considering Jared's working one step ahead of us, I'm going to go a little bit in the past and ask him about Jared. You're talking about comebacks. We just spoke about QDK, and of course, he wants his big call for the national team. Also, what do you think of Virat's batting yesterday? What do you think Virat's new approach to the game? Everyone's been talking about how he's been speeding up the game, and what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think it's always been funny because he said he had that comment last year, right, where he said,
Right.
all the analysts said I couldn't do this, and it turns out I can. And it's like, no, all the analysts said you could do it and that you weren't doing it, right? Like we had all looked at the situation and we all knew that there was plenty of chance for him to be able to bat in the way that he has. And we've seen it over the last couple of years. He has the ability to do that. His problem here is that he then pulls back. He can't help himself. He's brought up in another era with another set of thinking. And so he's always going to have a bit of a handbrake at times. But I also think that we've seen when he wants to attack early on, he can. Look, I don't think he plays spin as well as he used to, if we're being completely honest. So I do think that has changed the way that he actually bats. But all things considered, he's still very much, he can whack pace and he's absolutely brilliant at that. And with that slog sweep, he can go a little bit harder if he needs to and keep pressure back on the other teams. But, we're in an era where you have to try and score at 2 runs a ball in the power play, right? Like he just doesn't.
Right.
It's either that, or you don't bat in the power play anymore.
But we saw Rajat Patidar come in and he just be this. He unleashes right from the very first ball, and it's beautiful that he sets the template right the moment he steps in. He's probably doing a lot of things right for the team. His new hairdo, his new look, everyone's calling him the Durandar of the team. That whole vibe that he sets in, I think he's just come in this year with a very different mindset. I mean, he's always performed, but this year specifically, there's a very different mindset and a very different brand of cricket he's playing.
No, 100%. But I think again, they're using Paradar perfectly, right? Like, what is he best at attacking? Spin. As Arshdeep might get a wicket here, he does. As this one to Rickleton is on the pads, flicked up in the air, and deep backward square has taken. So not a good ball by Arshdeep. So 1 run off the first over, 11 runs off the second, and now they've got a cheeky wicket from a poor delivery down the leg side.
Wow. We've lost Rickleton.
Also with RCB, I mean, I would also have to say that it's been a classic case of the sum being greater. I mean, the whole being greater than the sum of the individual parts. The way they've been used, it's been so. I mean, I want to say it is in a way the bare minimum. Analysts doing a good job, coaches doing a good job of using the players the right way, and that's all it takes because of how primitive we've seen IPL be when it comes to tactics and when it comes to player usage, where reputation usually takes precedence. Finally, we're seeing a side who's actually playing T20 cricket the way it needs to be played, and we're all going gaga over the fact that, oh my god, a spin hitter is actually being sent in to hit spin, a pace hitter is actually being sent in to hit pace. Wow, that's genius. So somewhere it's down to that. Again, credit where it's due. We will have to also credit Mo Bobat and of course Andy Flower and the likes. But it is at the end of the day them just getting the basics right. Something CSK has been historically known for under MSD's captaincy. So I think it is not just down to the players, but the way they've been used. Just to add to what Jared said about Rajat Patidar.
I've also realized that this entire tournament has been a tournament of these young domestic pacers who have really shown their prowess. It in every team, be it a Kamboj, be it a Tyagi, be it Karthik, all of these guys have just consistently performed. I think the last match we had 3 wickets taken by. Why am I not? 3 were taken. Prince Yadav.
Oh, another wicket here. And
oh Lord, I
a
called
length
it in the
ball
wrong time.
outside of
first
stump.
one.
And I think Sky has just pushed at this and has been caught by short third. He's been caught by Chahal, which I always think is unlucky. And
Yeah, Sky and Chahal have a thing.
And knowing Chahal's feeling, of course. So it's great.
Yeah.
If he's caught onto it, then yeah.
Exactly.
Ajay.
yeah, Arshdeep's on a hat trick.
Wow, Arshdeep's on a hat trick.
What a start.
Wow.
I mean, I guess
That's the
Arshdeep
man
has
today.
finally seen Jared's taunts of him bowling too erratic and being too wayward. So I guess he's finally heard you, Jared. So you must be happy about that.
I don't mind how he bowls with the new ball. It's just with the old ball where he's decided that wides are the only delivery he's legally allowed to bowl.
I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, even against SRH, it's not like he was bowling guns or bullets with the new ball. He was just being way too wayward even
He
then.
has been a bit weighted, hasn't he? I actually think, quite often people will ask me about Arshdeep and they'll be like, don't you think he'd be a really good test bowler? And I'm like, well, I think the main issue is he's actually not that accurate, right? So he could swing the ball violently, but he's not always in control of that swing. The fact he can swing it both ways at good pace as a left armer is really, really good. But he's not, even when you go through his whole career, he's not always completely accurate all the way through. So I think that is an issue that he has. But yeah, this was just, to be honest, he just put the ball in the right area and the edge went in the right part. These things happen. But hat trick. He's on a hat trick, and I'm assuming that Tilak Varma is out there.
We've got a question.
No,
So
it's
should Tilak
Namandia.
open?
It's Namandia who's in, and the hat trick ball swings back into the pads. He turns this to short mid wicket, no run.
Should Tilak open so you max his skill versus pace? Funnily, Andy, this question that you've asked, I remember meeting Tilak for a brief Mumbai Indians stint, like an interview that I was doing with him, and I had a funny conversation with him. I said, Tilak, how many runs this year? What are you planning to do this year? And I said, I still remember the World Cup 6 to Jofra. And he says, just let me bat slightly higher up the order. At least I'd make about 500-600 runs. I'd be very happy. I won it all. I want to win it with the Mumbai Indians this time. I was like, okay, Tilak, we hope that this happens for you.
So instead, they've moved him down the order.
Yeah.
And Namandia, who was listed at 7, has come in at number 4. Yeah, look, I think there's an argument with Tilak that he is so good against pace, and he quite often does get stuck against spin. I was doing some analysis before the season, and it's really clear to me how much his career is sort of odd compared to other Indian players, and that usually comes from being in the wrong spot, right? And you're not quite in the right spot. But he does have a lot more dot balls than most people. And he does get stuck quite a lot, but then he doesn't hit the amount of boundaries that you would want to catch up all the time. So we know once he's on song, he's fine. So I think it's more if you can find the right spot. I think Varun's been talking about him batting further down the order, right? Coming in at number 6 or 7 and just smashing the ball there. But
fair. But Jared, speaking of players being batted in the wrong spot, that's where you can probably plug in your piece on Yusuf Pathan, what Varun and you had to say about him. Right, that's how you subtly plug it in. You should thank me for the segue there.
Exactly. We did just do a whole piece on Yusuf Pathan, which
is really good, folks.
It's one of the better videos we've made in the recent times. We're really happy about it. But yeah, it is a lot of fun of looking at how he was misunderstood when he came through. And then India had basically the first ever smasher of spin, and they went to 3 Asian World Cups and didn't pick him in one of them. And instead, they used him as a smasher of pace in T20 cricket, of which he's not anywhere near as good, right? So, it's really a piece about how you can get things wrong and how teams misunderstand. And these are the sorts of things that we're getting better at the moment, I think. So, but yeah, traditionally in cricket, it's not been a particularly, it's... We don't know what we're getting wrong now, right? Like, we'll be getting things wrong now, so it's easier to look back. But I don't think anyone had really ever looked back at Yusuf's career the way that we did. And luckily, Varun got very obsessed with him. And I was very obsessed with him when he played, to be fair. So I had a few stories there.
But Jared, on this, do you think the players themselves knew about this? Like, do you think Yusuf Pathan himself knew, you know what, just feed me spin. Just send me out when there are spinners, bowling out there, and I'll take care of them. Don't sort of ask me to hit pace. You think they themselves were aware of them, sort of being a lot more adept at playing spin or hitting spin versus, say, pace?
Yes. You guys know a lot more about Indian culture than me. Do you think that Yusuf would have felt comfortable telling MS Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh to move further down the order because he's better at hitting spin than them?
But surely he could have told Gambhir and the likes, right? Like at KKR, they still took an auction cycle, an entire cycle to figure out, what, we should probably send him up the order and make him mid-spin.
Yeah, I think, it's something we talk about in the piece of, the ultimate of this player is Lance Klusener, who was absolutely, without any question, batting in the wrong position 90% of his career. And because he doesn't look like a batter, South Africa was sending in other batters ahead of him who are way shitter than he is. I'm just doing quotes for everything at the moment. As this is misfielded through mid-wicket. Namandia picks up a boundary. Good strike there. So I do think I think traditionally there was always this theory that like the batters were the guys who were really good in first-class cricket. And so they had to be further up the order, right? And so I do think that plays a part. Look, we talk about it in the piece. He is a bit of a grotesque freak, right, Yusuf Pathan? And I say that in the nicest possible way. He was a mutant ahead of his time, right? And so you end up in a situation where you're like, well, MS Dhoni is obviously a better player than him. And it's like, yeah, he is. But MS Dhoni is not going to hit spin, and Yusuf Pathan is going to hit spin. And I think that has taken a long time for us to kind of reprogram our brains in the same way that if you look at like early limited overs cricket, we kept putting like traditional test openers out to bat originally, right? And then we started putting middle order players out to bat. But as long as you can face 3 overs of pace, that's all you really of swing. Sorry, you're fine. Sometimes that is a simple thing, right? But if you look, Mark Greatbatch does that in 1992, right? It actually and Tendulkar starts to do it as well. It actually takes a while before all teams sort of cotton on to that, right? And so if you have a player who should be playing in that position, if we did a podcast on this the other day about Simons. Simons, basically, Andrew Simons, when he played for Australia, should have had a record in one-day cricket of averaging about 30, 35 with a strike rate of 130, 140, right? He could have done that. We know he could have done that in his peak. And all Australia ever did was tell Andrew Simons not to play that way, right? All Australia ever did with Glenn Maxwell is tell him not to play that way, right? If you're sometimes it's really hard within your culture to break out of that.
The only thing I would still want to say is, I mean, this is of course me primarily basing off what I used to see or consume back then, and this is what a 15-year-old, 14-year-old me that we're talking about here. But we are looking at 2010, 2011, 2012 from the lens of 2026 because now we have the understanding of spin hitting, pace hitting. We want to say that they got that wrong, but I don't think that understanding itself existed.
Yeah, somewhere. Sorry,
Exactly.
But sorry, but I don't think. Yeah, you're right. And somewhere, I don't think we had the technical know-how to, or probably understand that this is spin hitting, this is pace hitting. I mean, you know the basics, but the technicalities and the nuances. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't so developed back then.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it's actually we did a whole podcast with me and Varun where I was saying if you go back, I don't remember anyone suggesting that he should have been batting higher. And as I said, if you think of him, he fits the template of someone who you think should be batting down the order because he's big and he's strong and he whacks it. So where do you put big and strong guys who whack it? You don't put them in at number 4, do you? You don't get them to bat in the 7th over or the 15th over of an ODI, right? What you do is you hold them back for the end and you smash it. And that's why I go back to Lance Klusener, right? If South Africa were being sensible, they would have been like, Lance Klusener is actually our best limited overs batter by a considerable distance. So, and he can play spin, and he's also not bad against the new ball. So let's not bat him in opening. We don't want him to nick off early, but let's put him at first drop. And the minute a wicket happens, you have to deal with Lance Klusener until you get him out, right? They almost never do that. It's really rare. The famous 1999 game, he comes in after Mark Boucher and Sean Pollock. Your best player in that tournament, who has just had the greatest tournament maybe anyone's ever had in a World Cup, gets moved further down the order, right? And that's because of this thing of like, he's the hitter, he'll catch up for us and everything else. It's like, but what is he hitting? And I think what Varun looks at is 2 other players, which is LB Morkel, who's another guy who should have batted up the order, right? Wasn't as good at the end hitting sixes. He was much better earlier on. And Kieran Pollard. And when we worked with St. Lucia, the first thing that was mentioned to me was, where should Kieran Pollard bat? And I went 4. And I said, unless there's wrist spin, because not as good against wrist spin, but there weren't as many wrist spinners in that competition that year. And I said, but if you bowl finger spins at Kieran Pollard in the middle overs, what's the expected runs per over? Like 15? Like, how does a finger spinner bowl to Kieran Pollard when he was light on his feet and he could get out to the ball, right? And yet we're saving him for the end, and he's good against pace, but he's better against finger spin. So let's get him in and make sure he's there. And at St. Lucia, he made his first ever 100 in T20 cricket, right? And that's not because we were like revolutionary. It's just because we moved him 2 positions higher, right? He suddenly had the ability to do the thing that he could have done. But because he's built like a fucking truck, right? And he whacks sixes off fast bowlers at the end, people think that's what he should do. Whereas actually, if you look at the skills of some of these guys, their best abilities is generally hitting the spinners, right? There's something within their game. So Yusuf Pathan, before matchups became a thing, no one noticed this, is absolutely brilliant at hitting the ball when it spins away from him. Another wicket! No! Oh my God! Chahal has dropped an absolute city. Marco, slower ball. Marco Janssen has bowled it angling across, and he's just tried to sort of flip this over his shoulder, and he's got nothing on it at all. It could not have gone any easier. And I don't know if Chahal slips.
Sky should really consider himself unlucky, man.
That's what I said. I just don't think you should.
Ooh, was it a?
I mean, does he slip when he tries to catch it?
Yes, he does. He does slip. He does slip a bit. Talking about the
not enough to drop it
orders, though. Yes, I was a sinner. Talking about the swapping of the batting orders, you just spoke about that interesting piece on Yusuf Pathan. Let's talk about the match today. Getting Naman up the order, a good decision because the ball swinging and maybe Tilak would not have performed as well.
I think it's fascinating because we were just talking about kind of the opposite, weren't we, guys? Of like I mean, that comment that we just had was, should Tilak actually be opening the batting?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you have him there. I'm trying to, do you know where, actually I might not have the data here, but it'd be interesting to know where Naman Dhir bats normally when he's not in the IPL as the Kock smashes this from Janssen. Yeah, I should be able to bring it up somewhere. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't mind using players. So this comes back to the Yusuf conversation, right? Of
Right.
Namandir is a proper cricketer, right? Like, he hasn't played a lot of first-class cricket at the moment, but we know that he's got genuine talent. He's not like a number 7 part-timer bat type of player, right? Like, this is a guy who can genuinely bat in multiple positions. And so what you want to do with someone like that is you generally want to use them in positions that will favor them, right? So let's say his best skill is hitting pace at the end, but he's also batted up the order domestically, right? If you're losing early wickets, is it worth him coming in and making sure that you don't lose Tilak now, right? When you're losing early wickets. And that is, if you look at RCB, even though they don't always change their batting order massively, if you look at RCB, it's kind of how they've started to structure their team a little bit more, right?
Right.
Of being like the right person has to come in at the right time.
Right? More than sticking to their order, they figure out what works well for them at that particular moment.
Right. And if you've got, in any one team, you've got 7 to 8 batting talents, right? And I think Ashwin and Akshar are 2 great examples of this. Sunil Narine, David Willey, right? Of like, those are limited batters, right? But when are they good? They're specifically good at times in the ground. Sunil Narine and David Willey were great in the power play. So if you hold those 2 guys back, are you getting as much batting from them if they bat at number 8? No.
Right. Yeah.
Right? If you look at Ashwin, what's Ashwin best at? Playing spin. If he has to come in and he's number 7 and his job is to hit sixes off pace bowlers, he'll do it, but probably at a slightly slower rate than another person would in that job. But if he faces spin, right, where he's really good, and it's the same with Akshar. So it's the situation of the game that you want to understand. And players, if you have a batter like Namandir, as I was saying before, who's probably a little bit more talented, right? Like naturally, he's probably more of an legit batter rather than a bowler who can hold the bat a little bit, right? He's probably going to have more than one skill in his batting. So it's your job as a team to use that skill as much as possible in every single game to make the whole unit better. And I think you might have said that about RCB before, of like, I don't know if it was you or Akshay, but one of you said something along the lines of like, it's about maximizing the 7 batters, right? And so just by so KKR the other day, right? They decide on Sunil Narine to open. Sunil Narine misses every single ball he faces, right? Finn Allen goes out, and that 2 overs of pace have been bowled by this point, and Ajinkya Rahane comes in. We know that they're about to bowl spin very, very soon because they've got Akil Hassan in, so they have to bowl him in the power play, right? And what do? They bring in the guy who can't play spin, who's already missed 2 overs of pace bowling. As this is an incredible shot by Namandir. He just shovels this like snow off a driveway. 1 bounce 4 out on the leg side off a slow ball.
Also about the KKR thing, Jared. Again, in their defense of potentially playing devil's advocate.
Absolutely not in their defense. They are shithouse. If you defend them here, you will be murdered.
Then I'll just play the devil's advocate. Because I think they were right in sort of trying to send Narine there for that specific
no issue
because they knew. No, because Akil was in all likelihood going to take the new ball. They knew Rahane struggles against spin. What they probably got wrong, and this is something I thought of in hindsight, they should have paired Rahane with Narine and not Finn Allen. They could have probably held back Finn Allen. That way, you have someone who can deal with spin. And in case, of course, if Akil Hussain doesn't come in and it's only pace, you've got Rahane on the other end. That way, they could have probably complemented each other better than, say, Finn Allen and Narine, because Finn Allen doesn't care who's at the non-strikers end. He's going to go for his shots. And that's probably where they could have tweaked it. Narine coming in wasn't my issue. Narine coming in place of Rahane was probably what they could have changed. And again, this is a lot more in hindsight. But I genuinely thought that was the right move. CSK was smart. They saw that Narayan's coming. They realized, you know what, there's no point trying to bowl Akil here. That's where I'll credit CSK as well for someone. Since a lot of people are mentioning that I hate watch on CSK, that's not the case, guys. See, I'm crediting CSK. I'm happy to give them credit.
Akshay, you have to understand CSK is obviously my team. You know, when Thala is obviously sitting outside, he's obviously planning everything, and you know, we are controlling the controllables.
Is only here.
No, but you know, you've got to be in the present moment, and I'll tell you this: that even though I am not on the field, off the field, I can also take decisions that the team is performing very, very well. So
don't be silly. You were playing World of Warcraft. You weren't even watching the game. Here's the issue with this. That Go Power Rangers. I'm glad we're still talking about children's TV shows after the last week. Finn Allen is the most likely person to win the game for KKR at the moment. So in your system, you're taking him away from the position as this is smash. Namandir's batting beautifully here. He's hit a big 6 over long on. In your system, you're taking away, right, the most likely player to win the game in a
Who's out of form?
Chase. He's not out of form. He's going out. He's not out of form.
In the
No,
IPL,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's out of form. He's playing bad shots. I don't think he's seeing the ball perfectly. He's playing bad shots.
Fair.
I can promise you.
Got it out early. Let's put it there.
I've been watching Finn Allen for 4 years. He does this a lot, right? Like this is. He's seeing the ball without any issue. I'm not sure why he's trying to hit everything over mid-on at the moment. But
got it.
Okay, you say he's out of form. What's Ajinkya Rahane then?
Against pace, he's been doing well even this season. But I get your point.
Well,
I won't say he's out of
match
form.
winning well.
But yeah. Fair.
Who's the most likely of those 3 people to win the game in that chase?
Oh yeah, Finn Allen
Right.
for sure.
Finn Allen.
Yeah.
So in your system, Ajinkya Rahane is so flawed, right, that you have to move your biggest match winner away from that position, right? And that's what I'm saying. So I have no problem with them going with Sun on their own. I think that makes look. Sunil got caught and he couldn't hit the ball and played some terrible shots. All these things happen. But the issue is, are you maximizing Ajinkya Rahane when he comes in at first drop once you've made that decision, right? And we knew from that period forward they were going to have to bowl a lot of Noor Ahmed, right, and a lot of Akil Hassan, right? It allowed them to sneak in another over of Akil Hassan later on, right, as well in the power play. So again, it's about maximizing it. If Ajinkya Rahane isn't going to face pace from the first ball and take on that first ball, which he is really good at, you then have to say, okay, maybe he bats at 6 or 7 today, and we bring him in at the end, and he tries to whack a bunch of sixes at the end off pace bowling. They weren't going to have pace bowling at the end. That's spin bowling at the end. No. They didn't have enough spinners in the side to do that, right? So, all I'm saying is, if you make a decision like that, you have to then understand that you are setting Ajinkya Rahane up to fail. And that's what they did in that situation. And that's his own fault. Yeah. He's the captain. Like, he's involved. But you know what I mean? You were setting him up to fail.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah. For sure.
One last there's no wrong answers. You remember the other day when Matre didn't come out to bat? Matre came out to bat ahead of Sarfaraz. Matre actually did okay in that innings, but it was absolutely the wrong decision. If the wicket is falling right at the end of the power play, Sarfaraz comes out every single time. Right? He's the person that you want to come out in that section.
But again, the problem with this is, of course, I don't know if I can go as far as to say we Indians, but at least Indian cricket has seen this tendency of focusing on results and outcomes and not necessarily the process. If you need 6 of one ball and you decide to say Ashwin over Powell, sure, Ashwin might hit a 6 on the random occasion. That does not make it the right move. You have to understand, you have to what the thinking behind that process is. But again, Jared, about what you said earlier, in terms of positions and everything, do you think there's any merit in sort of trying to change how these things are discussed? Like, for instance, in terms of terminologies, the most recent one I can think of is batsman being changed into batter. That way, when it comes to entry points, is there any merit in now talking about batters as not number 3, number 4, number 5, but in terms of their entry points as overs? Like, this guy's a 7 to 8 or 7 to 11 batter or something like that. That's where then even...
Death over batter or a power play batter.
Oh, Chahal's bowled his first ball here, and Naman out of the power play, and Naman Dhir has just whacked him back over his head for 6. Also, just to let you all know that Shashank was hit by a throw, I think.
Yeah.
He's gone off the field, so I'm hoping he's going to be okay. That was part of the delay there. Yeah, look, you can change your language. I mean, matchups went from being like a positive thing to a negative thing, right? Like, language is in the control of the people. When the word woke came out, right? Like it had a very specific meaning, and by the end, it wasn't even close to that meaning, right? And so, I mean, what was it? It was originally global warming, and what was the other one that it changed with? Like people change language all the time to fit their own agendas, right? And matchups went from being a positive thing to a negative thing because of the way the commentators called it, right? Even though quite often what they are calling is bad matchup data, which, we could talk about another day. Like there's a lot of mistakes made with matchups. But the point being is, I think you can change that sort of thing. I think...
Sorry, please go ahead.
Oh, wait, this might be another 6.
Beautiful shot, the first one at least from Naman.
The first one was beautiful. This one was a bit more agricultural from de Kock. It's 6-1-6, Chahal's first 3 balls here, guys. So suddenly... Mumbai is flying back into this game after being, what were they before? They were a 30% chance winning, and it's almost back up to 50% chance, which again tells you how much the market moves for them.
Wow,
Yeah.
QDK is on fire.
Again, another
Just
4.
getting back to another 4, yeah. Getting back to the game, talking about shifting positions and talking about getting batters to bat up and probably play down the order. Now, everyone knows Naman's doing well as of today at this particular moment and what you've just mentioned. But Tilak also at number 3 has had 2 of his centuries.
Yeah.
How does it play on a batter's mind at that particular moment when you know that you're batted up, you're ready to go, and you know you've got your job done? Because every team, and especially I know that what I've understood when I've spoken to cricketers is the fact that we know what we're supposed to do at a particular time in the match, and suddenly it's a paradigm shift for this person. What's going on in a player's head at that point?
So I'll tell you what the issue is. The issue is not professional cricket. The issue is from a very young age, people decide that they're a number 3 or a number 4 or an opener or a number 5, right? And realistically, I think that the best thing we can do for young kids when they're coming through is continually change their batting positions, right? So that they're always facing different situations and they have to work through things. Whereas the most talented batters usually pick their position and everyone bats around them, right? So I do think there is issues with that to begin with. And the more talented you are, the more stubborn you are with your batting position, right? Steve Waugh's like, I'm not batting at 3. And Australia's like, but we need a number 3 and you're our best bat. I'm not batting at 3. Shiv Naran Chandrapal, I'm not moving up the order. I make runs here. This is who I am. Right. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You would also make runs if you went up the order. Like it would help the team more. So there's no reason for players to think that. Traditionally, batting orders were really flexible. The only country that ever kept flexible batting orders was England. Everyone else was really, really rigid. If you look at the English players, it's fascinating how often they change from game to game. And what's more fascinating about it is there doesn't seem to be any tactical reason for this. It just seems to be that someone turned up one day and they were batting at 3 and the next test they bat at 5. I could never understand this. But the point being is, I always go back to that England team of 2011, right? So if they lose a wicket early on, obviously you want Jonathan Trott coming out to bat, right? But if Strauss and Cook have got you a 200-run opening partnership, you want KP to come out. Right?
Fair.
And so that's Test cricket. So how would that not be the case in T20 cricket, that we have all these little things? So I think the more flexible you can be with players and you explain it to them, the reason, Glenn, that they have a problem is they're quite used to batting in the same positions over and over again and they get it in their head. Whereas actually, I think what actually was saying before makes sense. Where you say to this person, your main strengths to us as a team are, if a wicket falls really early on, we want you to come in and we want you to be the secondary opener. If a wicket doesn't fall really early on, we want you to bat at the end and smash sixes. Can you prepare yourself for those 2 roles? Yeah. Your number means nothing to us.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Your role means everything. We think these are the things you're best at, and we'd love to be able to use you in any direction that will suit you. And so if you look at it, like once people get caught up in this position, so Australia spent years trying to convince Steve Smith that he should bat at 4 in T20 cricket. Now, Steve Smith wants to bat 4 in Test matches, right? Steve Smith did not want to bat 4 in one-day cricket or T20 cricket. And they kept saying, you are an ideal number 4. If we can put you there, you will absolutely work, right? And he fought it, and he fought it over and over again. Eventually, he asked to open. They were like, we've got 5 blokes who can open. We've got no one who can bat at number 4, right? He would have been ideal for that position and could have played it really, really well. And instead now he's had to completely change his game to try and bring him back in rather than just do the thing that is the most obvious to the skills that he has, right? Because if he comes in at 4, right, he's going to get boundaries off the spinners. He's not going to face many dot balls off them, right? He's going to attack the seam when he can. He's going to hit the ball in funny angles. And once he's faced 30 balls, he could score at 2 runs a ball. Right? But he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to worry about batting in the power play where he always bats defensively. Right? It's little things like that of like, it's not, if we just talk to cricketers differently and be like, this is the skill set that you have. And then they could say, well, I want to get better at that other thing. It's like, great, let's work on that, right? Shreyas Iyer got better against pace bowling, right? So he is a more versatile use, and the person who asked about Tilak Varma opening the batting before, right? Or as this one, they're showing some replays. We got the timeout, don't we? Tilak Varma, if he wants to open the batting, right? I'm not saying in this particular team at the moment, but if he wants to open the batting, okay, so how do we get him to a position where he has those skills? At the moment, we're a little bit worried that if he faces the brand new ball, he might nick off, right? And I'm not saying this for 100%. I'd have to look at footage of him and everything. But we're a little bit worried about that. So how can we get him up to that level, right? Like,
Interestingly, sorry, please go.
No, you go.
Interestingly, we were talking about shifting batting orders. I think the team Punjab has done this really well till about 2024. They kept shifting their batting order. They kept sending anybody anywhere. It was so sporadic with every match. They just play anyone anywhere. And I think somewhere now they've got, of course, Shreyas Iyer coming in and his magic and his captaincy, his entire aura has gotten some regulation in the team. But the Punjab team had this issue. I mean, I don't think they did it tactically, but it just happened. They would just send anyone anywhere to bat till about 2024.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do think
flexibility,
there's a lot
it's not just, I mean, just one thing, flexibility, it's not just about taking the literal meaning of it, it's about the
Yeah.
essence, the spirit of it.
Yeah.
it should fit a pattern of one kind or another, right? As in,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do the same thing every game because the pitches are different every game. But, you know, if you know you're going somewhere where, you know, there's all these cricketers in the world. I don't know if you guys remember a guy called Michael Yardy who played for England in T20 cricket.
Yeah.
So So Michael Yardy was not a left arm spinner. Michael Yardy was the captain of Sussex and a batter who very rarely bowled, right, for years. And when he got to about 28 or 29, he worked out this method of bowling very fast left arm finger spin that worked really well in T20 cricket, right? So England pick him in one day cricket and T20 cricket. And because he's a batter in their mind, they bat him at number 5. But Michael Yardy is not an international level batter, right? On top of that, Michael Yardy's not a particularly fast scoring batter, right? But they're like, we have to play him up the order. And I'm talking to the England team going, what are you doing? Like, his batting is at most useful to you. If you guys lose 3 early wickets, you send Michael Yardy up because you know this guy can bat on green wickets in England, right? This ball's zipping around. You need him. But if you're like 200 for 2 in the 35th over of an ODI and Michael Yardy comes out, you're giving away all of your advantages for no reason. And if he's batting in a T20 game, right, which we'd have to have a look at his numbers, but my guess is not exactly what you want Michael Yardy to do. So you can use Michael Yardy in certain situations and make him work, right? Liam Dawson is another good example of that recently of like, Liam Dawson is a proper batter in first class cricket. But realistically, who would he bat ahead? He wouldn't even bat ahead of Sam Curran, right, in the lineup. But if you lose a bunch of wickets or something's going on and the surface is really tough, who would you rather have? Sam Curran, who's an all-rounder, or Liam Dawson, who probably has 20 or 25 first-class hundreds, right? If it's tough, you use the player who makes sense. That's all we're talking about, right? This is not advanced analytics I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about common sense. Who is good at this thing? Do we know what they're good at? And how can we use them? And that's, you know, not particularly how cricket teams have been in this day and age. So Michael Yardy in 28 ODIs averaged 20 with a strike rate of 69. He actually did well in international ones, T20 by the way. And in 126 ODIs as a batter, he averaged 20 with a strike rate of 102. Right? Like, why do you want to send him in ahead of like some other guy you've got in there to biff sixes or some other guy who's really good against spin? Right? So I mean, just looking at the skills of your players and trusting them, and then if they come back to you, I know there was a situation of one player who he was picked specifically because they thought he was an Asian style seamer, so when they went to Asia they would pick him, and he's like, I'm more than happy to be picked for this skill set, right? But remember, I'm taking all my wickets in the UK at the moment, right? So I must also be good in the UK. If you don't think I'm good enough to play in England, that's fine, or in South Africa or New Zealand. But tell me what I need to do to get good at that thing, rather than just putting a line through my name. That's a great conversation because now it's about changing the way that this player is thinking about their game. You're already good at this. We want you to keep doing this. Can we get you to do this, this, and this in the future? What can you do? What can't you do?
We've got an interesting question by Vibhor Seth. Vibhor asks, do you think future of T20 batting is batting 9 of 6 to 7 guys, especially picked for batting in specific pockets of 4 overs, and then after that you retire?
So the retire thing is quite interesting. So we've had one retirement in this tournament so far. Was it Matre? Is he the only one?
Yeah, that's true.
The thing with retirements, is that you can, in that game, how many wickets did they lose? 2?
2, 3, probably 2 or 3.
Yeah, right. If you've lost 2 wickets, retirements make sense. Once you've lost 4 or 5 wickets, the problem with retirements is, when is a batter most likely to go out in an innings?
Death overs.
No, just straight away when you go right out, right?
Oh, fair,
your first
fair.
5 balls, you're most likely to be dismissed. So if you
Fair,
retire someone, you create a situation where what you might end up having is that they retire, and then straight away the guy who comes in who's more suited to the next section just goes out because people go out, right? And that's why we don't see more retirements. It's not that people don't understand the tactical benefits of it. It's that you've got a set batter who might be struggling, and you, in your mind, you're like, is it worth bringing out another one and potentially losing 2 wickets in 1 ball? You're not even losing him in 2 balls, right?
Yeah, this is the equivalent of, very typical NBA questions. This is NBA 101, where they talk about, whether it's more expensive to acquire a new customer or retain the existing one. This is that. A set batter, what benefits. Yeah,
I didn't know we were going to have a cat conversation today, but here we are.
There you go. There you go.
I think what Vibor is talking about is in the future, as the Kock has just sliced away another 4 here.
And about that, just one more point to that. Even in the future, what we're forgetting is at the end of the day, they are also human beings who will have their own insecurities. If a batter is batting well and you tell him, boss, you have to retire out now because we've got the next guy coming in and he's best suited to play in that phase, that's not how it works, because you need to ensure that they themselves are being well taken care of in terms of their mindset, their sort of, they need to be in a good space to contribute for your side.
And that's why I go back to this stuff has to start when they're kids.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of the things we never talk about for top level athletes is actually how hard it is to go from being the best player in every single cricket side you play in, and then one day you get to the top level and you're the 8th best player. Right? Yeah. How you become a role player when you've never been a role player before, right? Like, if some of these kids who are coming from, less traditional cricket backgrounds, like if you come from Mumbai or Chennai or, Bangalore or wherever, right? Chances are there was someone else roughly at your level, right? At least in one team that you played.
Yeah.
If you're from some of these more regional teams, chances are you were the most talented person at every single age level that you played at, right? Even when you got to first class level, the other guys are like, "Oh, geez, he might be a step above us," right? And so how you deal with that? So you have to, that's why I'm saying when you're dealing with young talented kids, it's like, make sure that they understand that they have to do all these different jobs, right? That the world doesn't revolve around them. Right? You might even, as a junior coach, might lose less games, but produce more rounded players, right? Who understand that, eventually you want to get to that position. As this is slashed away for another 4 by de Kock. So they're about 40 off 25 each. No, sorry. Naman is about 36 off 20. Wait, I'll get that right. I had it right.
67 of 38.
Yeah.
Third wicket partnership. 67 of 38. Third wicket partnership.
Yeah, so the Kock's 39 of 22 and Naman is 36 of 20. So they're matching each other for
36 of 20, yeah, for sure.
So one of the great examples of this in the history of the game is Michael Jordan, right? So Michael Jordan, when he first goes to the Bulls, they just throw him the ball over and over again, right? And he scores like ridiculous amounts of points. And Chicago can never get past Detroit, and they're not even close to getting up to the sort of the Boston level, right? And then he is convinced to let go of the ball and spend more time running around, and that other people will pass him the ball. And what does that do? That opens up the entire court for everyone, right? Now, instead of everyone going around Michael Jordan, they don't know where to go because the ball's here and he's here. You can't defend the ball and a person running around, which is the Steph Curry theory of modern basketball, right? Which is what it has eventually led to. But Michael Jordan had to be convinced of that because Michael Jordan had never been in a position where the ball had not been in his hand before. Why would you not give the ball to Michael Jordan?
Jordan.
Whereas if he was younger and he was in a different situation and people maybe would have been able to, work with him differently, he would have understood, no. You are going to be a better player because no one is going to be able to ever stop you again. Whereas every time you have the ball in your hand, we're going to have 3 blokes just land on you and you're going to get kicked. And have a look at those early Detroit games against him. They're literally just punching him as he comes into the lane, right? Like, it's ridiculous. You can't do that when you've also got to worry about where the ball is and what Scottie Pippen or, BJ Armstrong is doing. It's the same with cricket, right? If you have the ability to play in multiple roles, you'll get there. Sorry, someone just put up a live scorecard one, was it? Yeah, we're getting on it.
Yeah.
It's very, very close. We've ordered it. It just hasn't been made for us yet. If you need the truth, but it's early on, and it won't just be for the IPL. We'll be doing these things for many different tournaments going ahead.
Yeah. Oh wow, bro! Like I saw this
Wow.
comment, yeah, right. I'm like, why would we discuss the delimitation of the parliament seats on a cricket watch along for a game between Mumbai Indians and Punjab Kings? I have no clue. But yeah, just for the uninitiated, it says hot topic in India right now is the delimitation of parliament
Yeah.
seats. The solution they came up with is to increase it by an equal percentage, which reminds me of the ICC revenue model, where still an unequal increased percentage is seen. Thoughts? I don't know, like, we'll just stick to the ICC bit of it. Like, this segue was probably not needed. But Jared, yeah, I mean,
Do you know,
thoughts on an unequal, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about this situation. This is the first time I've heard
You
about
don't need
it.
to know, yeah.
But I'll tell you a very interesting one of when Australia was formed. So New Zealand almost became part of Australia, and Western Australia was going to become a country on its own, right? And then at the last minute, it switched. New Zealand was out, Western Australia was in, right? And for years, money from the eastern states, especially at one stage, Melbourne was, the richest city in the world because of all the gold that was running through it. A lot of the money from the eastern states, all the way through, would help Western Australia, right? Then suddenly they started drilling in the ground and they realized they were the rich ones, right? And they started talking about, well, why would we, do anything for you guys now? Because we are the ones that have the money. There was even a conversation about whether Western Australia would exit Australia, right? Like, obviously wasn't serious, but people had mentioned it. And I'm like, but you guys only got to that level because it was a country as a whole, and at a different time, you had to be propped up by people in other states, and that's going to happen the other way around as well. Like at one stage, they maybe, I mean, in Western Australia's case, this may never happen because it's bloody big, but they might run out of things in the ground that are worth money, right? And they might need to be propped up again. And it's why you have to be really careful about these kinds of things, because you don't actually know. It's why we are much better together as a society than we are as individuals, because as an individual, you end up being, caught out on your own. That's all I would say about this. I have no idea about the full model and everything else, right? But these things change.
Rohit, what we're going to do is we're going to have a lot of match discourse over here, political discourse, maybe some other time. Because
but you guys
the
didn't know we
interesting
were going to
part
go
is-
to early 1900s Australian politics from that question, did you?
I'm telling you, we stick to match discourse. I've always wondered, Shreyas Iyer is the wonder boy of the Indian cricket team for whatever he's done.
You seem to have a bit of a Shreyas Iyer crush. Have we discussed this yet, Glenn? It's my first watch along with you, so I don't know. But
I'll tell you why. Because for me, Shreyas Iyer has always been this aspirational story. A guy who's always made a comeback, a guy who's always fought it, he's figured it out, non-conformist, somebody who's you try to put him in a template, you try to put him in a box, and he'll still say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do it right, but I'll do it my way. Do you
just
think
another
justifies
six by de Kock off Jahal.
yeah.
So Jahal has gone for 27 runs in 9 balls. Continue your love story to Shreyas Iyer.
Shreyas Iyer? Is he the only player this time to justify the price tag?
Or this time, I don't know. No, Ishan Kishan more than justified his one, didn't he?
Yes, true that.
He still went for too high. There's no way of explaining it without saying he went for too high, because I was one of those people who thought he would go for a lot of money, and Cheyenne brought this up recently that I'd written a piece talking about it. I don't remember this piece, of course. And my thought was that he was about to have a bit of a jump, right? So I was higher on him than most people were. I still thought he was overpaid in the way that it all fell through. And so he's probably exceeded the expectations that anyone had on him. And that is all that has done is really matched the price that he was paid. Does that make sense? So there was still a hype in the payment, and he's managed to match that. I wouldn't say he's exceeded it. You'd have to be Bumrah to probably exceed that amount, wouldn't you?
Essentially, no player is worth more than 20% of your purse. That's as simple. Like it's hard. It's hard to be worth over 20% of your purse when you know how IPL functions. So I am with, and again, I don't think it has anything to do.
Do
with
you think
players,
Bumrah is worth more than 20% of the purse?
He's arguably the only player. If I had to
Suryavanshi?
pick one, no. I love the guy.
I love him. I love him. But too early for Suryavanshi. I mean,
I'm not. It
he
is too
was.
early, but I'm just saying if he keeps winning games in the first 4 overs, he is probably worth more than 20% of your money, isn't he? Even Chris Gale would take 8 overs to win the game, right? If you can win the game in 4 overs with your batting consistently, who knows if he will? I think that's worth more than 20%.
Consistent being the operative word there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistent being the operative word. Fair.
Yeah, we're a long way from that being the truth at the moment, but yeah, I think I can see it. I want to say that in the first part of the Big Bash, and someone might need to look this up and fact check it for us. I want to say that Gale went for like 40% of the Sydney Thunder's budget.
The Thunder, okay.
Yeah, we were all like, what? Like, what? How have you done that? Like, that seems like a terrible decision. Who are you going to have batting with him? Like some kid who won a competition?
I want to say Thunder at a point in time had all of Shane Watson, Andre Russell, and Jacques Kallis at the same time. And at 2014 or 15. Yeah.
I remember they had
And
Andre
another
Russell.
time they had Pat Cummins. Yeah, they had Andre Russell, they had Shane Watson and Pat Cummins. So they've had a bunch of all-rounders. Yeah. I used to always wonder, like, how can you have 3 gun all-rounders in your side?
So Pat Cummins is the Kock goes for a huge ball. He's brought up his 50 off 29, by the way. So 97 for 2 after 10.1. I was there when I think Pat Cummins first batted up the order. It was randomly some Big Bash game when I was out in the middle of nowhere in shithole Eastern Sydney. As we've talked about before, what an absolute terrible place. What sort of an idiot would move to East Sydney? Of all the places, imagine going to Australia and then the place you pick is East Sydney. Oh my God.
East Sydney supporters, back me up in the chat.
But yeah, so I went out there and I think actually he was batting at 6. And I remember being shocked because I don't think he'd batted anywhere. No one was talking about him as a potential even batter at all as this one slashed away for another 4 by de Kock. At all. And then suddenly he was batting at 6. And I think he might have made runs in that game too. And that was kind of the start of Pat Cummins as he can bat
all-rounder.
Yeah. I mean, all-rounder's pushing it, but not shit with a bat.
Fair. I'll give that.
I'm very harsh on the phrase all-rounder. It's a high bar for me all-rounder. He ain't getting picked in a side as a batter, is he, Pat Cummins?
I googled Glenn Saldana, and he's a managing director of a pharma company. Siddharth, let me clarify this to you. So Glenn Saldana is the owner of Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. I'm not making this up, okay? I get called by people selling me shares, private jets, and I have a conversation which I would love to share with all of you all next time and I'll share with all our watch-along guys about how I've been having this conversation with this dude who's selling me a private jet, and I told him I want something exquisite and something really big, and he sold me the interiors. He's told me what's going to happen. He's talked to me about the oil and everything that is used in the jet, and it made no fucking sense to me at all. But I was sitting and enjoying this conversation. At the end of it all, I had to tell him that I am Glenn Saldana, who just owns the shares of the company, and just a few of them. He's the owner of the company. He's the
So wait a minute. You own shares in a company that is run by a man who is the same name as you.
Yes, Glenn Saldana, and he's actually
you brought this on yourself then, haven't you?
The funny part is, he's a family friend, and every time I meet him at times, I was like, listen, I worked really, really hard.
He's a family friend. Okay, so Glenn is rich. You can't be family friends with a billionaire and be like, I'm not rich.
No, I am not. It's my family who's family friends with him. I am not. Hey, dude, I'm not a secret billionaire.
You can't wiggle yourself out of this. Come on. You brought this on yourself. No, but I wonder what it's like to be a freaking private jet salesman. Like, how do you sell a private jet?
I used to follow a guy on TikTok. I think it was on TikTok. Because he was a private jet salesman. That was his job, right? And it was that period where all the influencers were saying they were in private jets, and he was explaining the things that they were like. It was just clearly they were in a set, or he was saying actually that, like, someone would be like, yeah, I'm going to buy my own private jet, and he's like, no, you're not, because it wouldn't make any sense for your business model or whatever. And he would just go through the details, and then occasionally he would talk through actually selling private jets to people as well. It was so fascinating. Then the algorithm killed him. Andy says, is Pete Doney worth 20%? Best death hitter plus game manager.
Because he's the only one he's one of like 3 people who I think actually add value as a captain. Tactically, they're so evolved. I would probably be a lot more open to considering it. But even then, yeah, it's
You are
pushing it.
paying for
20%.
3 skills in that point, though, aren't you? Like, I mean, you do have to factor that in. You are paying for 3 different skills.
True.
Also, there's a franchise argument. I mean, let's be honest. People like Dhoni and Virat are making a lot more than 20% of the salary cap, guys. The salary cap is an absolute scam in the IPL to begin with. So let's not get stuck on believing the salary cap for the top Indian players and even the top overseas players. But I think,
Jared, if you're going to expose all of this over here, it is not going to be fair enough because, sometimes you just have to let it be because I'll just say this very honestly. Let's just stick to the cricket and not the salary part of it. We can discuss this later on because you see,
it blows me every time.
No, it can blow you off because I don't want to hurt egos, so I don't want to talk about money over here. Let's just talk about the game and my batting position. And yes, 20% is definitely in all humility I say this, I'll take it, but it's still okay.
I get post-traumatic stress when you go into that accent for the amount of press conferences I have had to sit through him saying fuck all. So many press conferences of just him just saying absolutely nothing as Indian journalists get angrier and angrier around him. Another 6 off Chahal. Quinton de Kock is 69 off 36 and Yusuf Chahal has gone for 36 runs in 14 balls?
Wow.
And this is a good bowling attack, and they were on top early on. So Mumbai had a 30% chance of winning. It's a 60% chance now. So it's a 30% swing back to them. And a lot of it seems to happen when Chahal is bowling as well.
Yep. Gone for plenty tonight.
Charles got a great matchup against... sorry, you're saying something.
No, I was just going to say, Richard here told me, is this Glenn here to give me $1 million? So I'll just share my account details. Please go ahead and make that transfer. Yeah.
I mean, I've got a business to pitch, Glenn. You're lucky you haven't told this story to Robbie. Robbie would have sat you down and taken you through.
But Charles got a great matchup against this team on this ground. It's just not his day today.
He's not bowling terribly, to be fair, as this one is hit over cover for 6 by Namandir. My God, that is a good shot. He went wide and slow, and Namandir's like, "Oh, okay, I'll just hit this over 6 for cover. Over cover for 6 then." I should be able to bring some of this up.
I mean, a couple of overs ago, Quinton de Kock was on 31 and Naman Dhir was on 36. Naman's now on 39 or whatever it is, and Quinton de Kock's already raced to 70.
Yeah, Namandir's basically not faced the ball in that time though either, and Quinton de Kock's hit most of his for 6.
Oh wow,
de Kock's on fire.
Yeah, a statement I did not think I would be hearing in 2026.
A Kock is on fire. Oh, this could be out. He's hit this down. Oh, just short of long on for 1.
No, bro, MS is not a good family friend. MS is just my alter ego.
Can you do anyone else, or is MS your...
MS, I do...
Jared, you mean Glenn? When you say you do, Dhoni, that has
I try to do a bit of Ishan Sharma also.
Oh my God, there's a throwback.
That's
I don't know, man. Stop it. I'm just trying to understand them. But stop laughing at me. I'm trying to touch what's wrong with you. Rohit bhai ko bolo yaar. Come on, yaar.
Can you do Ishan Sharma talking to MS Dhoni?
Ishan Sharma. Okay, let's try. I tried a Michael Holding, the great Michael Holding once, and I always try to do it, but sometimes the accent doesn't come all that right. But I'll try the.
You've got some of the tone right, but I don't think you've got the accent right. If that makes sense, you've got the depth, but not quite the accent.
I've got to get the accent.
He's got quite a weird accent, Michael Holding, because
most
Jamaicans have a really thick Jamaican accent, and his is like a hybrid of Middle England where he lived and stuff, and it's not like a strict like Jamaican kind of accent. Even when he talks to other Jamaicans, I have real trouble when Jamaicans talk to Jamaicans. Or Bajans talk to Bajans, because they go into like a patois, and because I grew up in Australia, it's just not something I've heard before, and so I struggle. And I've even heard him talking to other Jamaicans. He doesn't go to that level that other people go to, so his accent is more like mine. It's a hybrid accent at this point.
Got it.
Ishan Sharma making a face to Steve Smith 2007. I remember Virat Kohli couldn't control what had happened with Ishan Sharma.
Oh my word.
Oh man, man, I can't. I think the projected score right now, the rate in which they're going, 200 plus. Yeah, a
Yeah,
good decision.
250 is what they should be targeting here
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Wait, I did have it here. Let me 1 second.
Yeah, what's
Lost
the
it
run
now.
line like right now?
I've still got that women's game. Did I talk to you? No, I haven't talked to either of you about this. The projected run line at the moment is 224. So it started at 206. It went down to 106, 196 after the first over, and is now
196.
224 in the what over are we in? The
13th over.
So 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you were watching a women's game. What the
Let me just. I think there might be a wicket here. I only say that because the market just jumped. And
Oh, it could be a boundary. Oh, maybe in Punjab's favor, you mean?
yeah, only because the run line just went down, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I wasn't even watching it. A friend sent me a message. I talked about it on the Watchalong yesterday a little bit, but there was a women's 50-over domestic game between Warwickshire and Hampshire, and on the betting market, about £160,000 had been bet, which is about normal for that kind of level of game, right?
Okay.
But there's a secondary market that you can bet on in that game, which is whether it's going to be washed out or not. £2.2 million had been traded on the secondary market.
Wow.
All right.
Why?
And so my friend sent it to me and goes, there's something dodgy going on here. And so I looked it up. At 11 p.m. the night before the game, someone bet £1.1 million that the game was definitely going to be washed off. And then almost instantly, someone bet £1.1 million on the other side that the game was not going to be washed off. Wow. And that is how you launder cash in the modern world.
Oh, so
Allegedly. Either that or there was just two really psyched up weather bettors who just happened to bet at the exact same time the night before a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
I wouldn't know about all of this. I'm friends with millionaires, so I'd probably know all of this.
This is when Glenn says, actually, I related to a guy who also is
Yeah,
called
exactly.
by same name who made those bets. That's how he buys his jets, everyone. That's how the man buys his jets.
Yeah, probably buy jet spray, not jets, guys. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But I can't afford these jets. Okay, the watch along will turn into VC pitch soon.
This has been a good over from Marco Janssen. Just a bit of a slowdown here. So they've got, the last one was a wide, but they had a couple of singles before that. So slowing it down a little bit here. He's gone for 20 off 2.4. And it's going to be another single. Yeah, this has been a good over. I'm trying to think of how many... When was the last time they had an over? Where are we here?
Went for 6 singles or what?
Okay, so... They went for... Third over went for 3. The fifth over went for 8. The eighth over went for 7. Everything else has been double figures. So the last 4 overs
Not
before
bad.
this were 12, 11, 13, 15. So no massive like game shifting overs, but you know, you start to load all those overs up together. So he's gone for 7 in this over with the wide, but they needed that, right? They just need a moment where they're not picking the ball up from the boundary every 5 seconds.
That's true. That's true. But this is why I feel with De Kock, probably he can just start trying to smash every ball out of the ground because you've got Tilak, Shafin, Rutherford, there's Pandya, there's enough batting to come, so there's no
Okay.
point trying to just nut singles. Yeah.
This is the game that it's worth doing the retired out. If
Agreed.
if he's just got tired and you just think, if you're a coach or a captain and you look at it and go, nothing wrong with the way he's batted brilliantly here, like you might think to yourself, it's just worth giving him a break and bringing some fresh legs in. The only issue is he is 74 and he might be like, I'm not that far away from 100 here, guys. Can you let me have a go?
I mean, Mumbai retired. Who did they retire last year? Tilak Verma. So if they can do that, I'm pretty sure Quinton de Kock's not really someone they'd be too worried about.
He's an interesting guy, though. Like as we said before, the psychology, I think Glenn was bringing this up, right? That's the sort of psychology of it. Like you can't retire everyone. There are some people who just might never recover from it, right? Like, and especially if you haven't had a conversation with them about the possibility before. There are some people who just see it as a slight on their character. When you're just like, no, it's just you look tired. We needed sixes, and so we went with someone who could hit sixes.
I mean, it can work both ways in a way, because in the WPL we saw UP Warriors retire out Harleen Dio, and there was a lot of chat around that. And the very next game she scored a match-winning 50 for them, and it can either fuel you wherein now you want to prove yourself, or it could really push you down. So,
Well, Sai Sudarshan is a much more attacking player these days, right? After his retirement.
That's
so
true.
Shashank is bowling. So the good news is, as Naman brings up his 50 year,
He's back.
The good news is that Shashank is fine and doesn't have concussion. The bad news is that Shashank is bowling.
Bowling, yeah. Why? I mean, at Wankhede of all surfaces. Oh man.
Who's the worst bowler to bowl an over this year? Is it Tim David or is there someone else I'm forgetting?
Tim David's a good shout.
Has anyone else bowled an over? I'm trying to think.
Do you want to consider like the last over, last 2-3 balls and stuff like that? Like when the match is done and dusted.
Oh, this could be a wicket. De Kock might have retired himself out here. He has not. He just hit the ball straight up in the air and it went to no one.
Oh. But yeah, I agree with Andy. You've got a Marcus Stoinis. Just go to Marcus Stoinis. Like, what is Shashank Singh going to offer you that Marcus Stoinis won't?
You don't want to spoil Marcus Tyler's hairstyle, so just hang on.
No, I don't think anything can. It almost never moves. Isn't there... Did that hit the Steadicam, guys?
I guess it is the set again. That's why you came down straight.
I'm waiting. The ball's
Sorry, guys,
happening.
I didn't even notice that. It did come down on a weird angle.
Oh, did it?
No, I don't think it did. I'm still not sure. Oh, wait.
Yes.
Stoinis is definitely pointing out.
But then it should be a dead ball in that case. I don't think it hit. Probably he was obstructed by it or was distracted by it.
Shashank's got a wicket here. Naman tries to smack this away. And then it is sliced straight to long off. I'm just having a look at Stoinis again. I think it's possible Stoinis is saying he just didn't see it.
Yeah, that's what he said. At least based on, I mean, I'm not a lip reading expert, but based on what I could see, he did say can't see or couldn't see or something like that.
Anyway, the greatest bowler that Punjab have ever had, Shashank, is back. He's had a great bowling tournament. Is this his third over? And I think he's got 3 wickets already, doesn't he?
That's true. Bizarre, man. Bizarre.
Also, Xavier Bartlett, every catch he's taken this year, he's caught like someone who's playing Aussie rules football. Like, he's not catching any of these balls like it's cricket. It looks like he's taking a mark and he's going to turn around and kick a goal.
Yeah.
The one he took earlier in the season, if you have a look, he even puts his knee up, which is what you're supposed to do. Because when you're taking a mark, you stretch your body out. And because Aussie rules football, they come from every angle. If you don't have your knee out, you can get absolutely pile drive. So if you have your knee as a bit of a defense, they hit your knee before they hit your chest or whatever. And you can actually see him do that. And I was like, okay, didn't know he played footy when he was a kid.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Is this pitch more bowler friendly? Generally, a Wankhede wicket is, I mean, what I understand is a batter's paradise.
It is. This one is. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, we're talking about 230, 250
Right.
potentially Pasco here. So I wouldn't call it bowler friendly or anything. But yeah.
I think also, if you go back, the only time that the bowlers were on top was, I don't want to say it's a fluke 2 wickets, but one was a bad ball and the legs flicked straight to a fielder. The other one was sky first ball that could have been edged anywhere, right? Like, it was more of a slice than an edge. And since then, we really haven't seen them look all that close to put pressure on to get wickets. And it felt like when they needed a boundary, both of these guys could find it. Some of that could also make it, just be good batting. But I do think there's an element here of like, if you need a boundary, it's not that hard to find one on this wicket at the moment with the batting team.
So Hardik Pandya has been sent up the order.
Hey, maybe they've been listening to Varun and they want to have Tilak as their closer.
Jared, they've taken your word very seriously now. They're figuring out what needs to be done at that particular time. If Akshay was CSK, who would he sign to replace Ahmed?
Oh,
which Ahmed?
Khalil Ahmed has been, he's been ruled out of the tournament.
He was he? Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Yeah, he's
I was
been ruled
really
out.
worried
David
about
Payne
that.
is al-
I was
yeah, David
commentating
Payne
on
has
that
also
game.
been ruled out.
Who?
David Payne has also been ruled out of the tournament. SRH. Surprise, surprise is all I'm going to say. A bowler who went for 30 runs in an over almost twice in the season has been ruled out 5 games into the season. Oh, that's sad for
I feel
SRH.
bad for David Payne. As I said, if he was picked in his prime, he actually would have been a very good IPL player. But picking him when he's 36 or however old he is, he was always going to struggle. Okay, so who's the backup? Are there any backup fast bowlers out there? What's Shadab doing these days?
No, let's not go with that. Okay, thank God. But you can never say he might be brought in, from his commentary stint. We've seen that happen a couple of times in the IPL already.
Yeah.
But I would probably think of Akash Madhwal as one of the options. He went through last season.
Akash is a Mumbai boy also, right? Mumbai player, Akash Madhwal. He plays for the Mumbai Indians.
Yep, started with Mumbai Indians, was with RR last year. They also released them. And Mukesh Chaudhary is already a part of the squad who Amu is mentioning. But another name that I will consider and a lot of people have been talking about is this young all-rounder called Aris Amrish. He's a pace bowling all-rounder, under-19 player. He's been making some rapid strides in age group cricket. People think of him as the next Hardik Pandya, and in fact, a lot of people rate him as an upgrade over Hardik Pandya. That's how good this kid can be, is what a lot of scouts have rated. So you could potentially see someone like him being brought into the CSK side. They've been very clear that they want youngsters, they want to build a young squad. So if they want to stick to that, then we might see someone like an Amrish also being signed.
Mukesh Chaudhary is not a bad player just to come in for a couple of games while they're working it out, though, is he?
No. I'll just say no because the last time I went really hammer and tongs after a player, Robbie did not take very kindly to it. So I'll just say no.
Okay.
Just a question for both of you. If you gotta get somebody out of just taking this question a little ahead, Jared and Akshay, if you've got to take a player out of retirement and say, okay, play for the CSK team, who would that one player be for you? Who would that one bowler be?
Oh, bowler. Okay.
To replace, like replacement. To replace Khalil.
Dougie Bollinger. All right. Fair. I thought of Bollinger. That was the name that came to me.
Dougie Bollinger. Dougie Bollinger's hair is still quite young, so.
The beard, oh my goodness, I genuinely couldn't recognize it.
Have you guys ever seen the remember when they used to do the I forget what they called it now, but when they had like the ultra image, the hotspot technology, right? And they did it on Dougie Bollinger's hair because Dougie Bollinger went bald when he was 19, and then he got a hair transplant so everyone knew him as bald. I remember the first time I saw Dougie Bollinger bowl, and there's this big chubby left armer coming in, and they're like, this young kid, he's going to be so good. And I was like, I must be misunderstanding. It must be a guy at the other end that I'm like not understanding. And then his age came up on the screen. And he was like 20 or something. It has to be an Indian player though, doesn't it? Because otherwise you screw up their pattern.
That's true. Indian left armer. I can't think of too many left armers outside of Ashish Nehra. Probably someone like I don't know. Ishwar Pandey comes to mind. Munaf Patel, but Munaf Patel never played for CSK. Oh, you're talking about any retired player?
Any player out of retirement, yeah.
Oh, then Irfan Pathan.
Oh yeah, man. Ooh.
Zahir Khan.
Water also. Zahir. Ooh, Water.
Zahir. Interesting names being given, of course. But back to the game. I mean, at least as per my stream, it's 143 for 3 after 14.3. I'm guessing I'm a couple of balls behind or more than that.
Well, I can tell you're not any runs behind.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. Now you're some runs behind as this is scored to backle point for 1. But yeah. No, this is another good over. Last over was 1 for 4. This one's had a wide in it. But we've had a dot ball and 3 singles to go with the boundary off the first ball. So, again, they're doing quite well at just, slowing them down.
Whoa.
So, yeah,
Malcolm
score.
Marshall says Amu.
Wow. Dennis Lilly, Glenn McGrath. Wow. Jeff Thompson. I love this. I love where this is going.
If this is the names you're looking for, then the first name should be Wasam Akram because you want a left arm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can't wait to see Wasim Akram and Anshul both share the new ball. That has to be
Exactly.
the most bizarre new ball pair in
I
the
mean,
history
the
of the
thing is, if you think about what Wasim Akram did in his career, right? So, do you know the story about Wasim Akram playing second 11 cricket for Lancashire?
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
read it in his book. Yeah.
So, Glenn, they used to have, so teams quite often would have two overseas players because obviously overseas commitments and injuries and form, just to
Right.
make sure, right? And the second player would kind of be like a coach at times as well, depending on the team. And so 1 year, Lancashire signed Wasim Akram, and I think it was Patrick Patterson was the other bowler. So they basically signed two of the three fastest bowlers in the world, right? And so I think they thought to themselves, you go back into the second 11 and just, keep yourself warm, and and whoever's fully fit for the next game plays in the first 11. So Wasim Akram was playing occasionally second 11 games for Lancashire, right? At that time. I think Patrick Patterson played more of them. But Patrick Patterson was the world's fastest bowler. But think about who they would have been opening the bowling with at Lancashire, right? Like you're talking about Lancashire's fifth best bowler opening the bowling with Wasim Akram.
Which was Akram.
Yeah. I mean, it is still one of the few sports in the world where you can play against a top level player. Like, Nicholas Pooran up until recently was still playing in those club tournaments in America, right? Rakim Cornwall plays in those tournaments. There's some big name players. When I grew up, we would have half the Sri Lankan team. Well, that still happens now, but when I grew up, half the Sri Lankan team would retire and then just move and play club cricket in Melbourne. And you'd have to go up against, I had to bowl to Ravi Ratnayake once, and just, all I could do was bowl the ball and just turn to see how far he was hitting it each time. You had those kind of situations quite a bit. But even in English cricket, like, that still happens. This might be the Kock. He's got it on. He's got it over again. He looked at that a little bit like a golfer, thinking to himself, I think I've sliced that. But it was a very slow delivery, and he manages to get it over long off for another 6. Yeah, it was a good slow ball by Shashank, and he bowled it wide, but it's just good hitting by the Kock at this point. He's hit a lot of 6s today. What's that, his 6th or his 7th? 6th, I think. So he's on 88. Now is when you retire him, guys.
Guys, okay, comments. Is De Kock going to hit his 100? Come on, let's see. What are the bets, guys? Let's lay the bets out here.
I can tell you he's now at 94, Glenn.
Oh, he's at another 6. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, and the slow one, he's picked up the slow one beautifully. Oh, is it the previous ball that I'm watching?
You're looking at the previous one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes, the previous one.
Jared, out of the blue, but did you ever, at St. Lucia, did you guys ever have Mark Dayal when you were there?
Sorry, did I have who?
Mark Dayal, the left-hand batter.
No. I think he was the year before me, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Whatever
so.
happened to that guy? I really liked him when he first came, and he looked like something. So.
Sorry. Please go ahead, guys. Sorry.
I think what happens with a lot of those guys is it's actually really hard to stay as like a professional cricketer in the West Indies if you're not regularly, a star. So a lot of those guys disappear, and then they don't develop as quickly as they should be as well. So, there's a few.
We got an interesting question. Ravi Rampal, Ravi Bopara? Who's the best Ravi? Ravi Shastri, of course. It's the Mumbai Indians. What's this? The Punjab, Kasakai, Mumbai. Ravi Shastri, of course, hands down. I love Ravi Shastri.
Jadeja's been left out of this.
I was about to say, where's Jadeja? For what it's worth, you can also count Ashwin. Has a Ravi somewhere there?
I think Ravi Rampal, did he not come back and did he help them win a World Cup? Or was he not?
He was a part of the. No, he was a part of the 14 squad. I want to say, not 16.
He might have been, actually. You might be right. Ravi Bopara was probably for a period of time the best strike rotator in all of T20 cricket by a mile. And he just refused to hit boundaries. He's a fascinating cricketer. And then, like, out of nowhere, he'll just hit like 3 6s in a row, and then he'll just go back to blocking full tosses again. He's always one of the weirdest ones. He actually bowled really well. I think all things considered, Ravi Bopara was probably a better T20 cricketer than Ravi Rampal.
But Ravi Rampal wasn't too bad, especially at the death and everything. He was actually quite underrated, I would say. And he was
he had a good little period, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, someone's asked Jared, do you know what happened to Krishma Santoki? We all know the no ball. I don't know what was the aftermath of that.
I think so. It's a bit of a shame, actually, and I would love to go back and get the full story, but essentially, people decided he was chucking. I don't know if he was tested correctly, and he just kind of faded away, and it shows just how bad cricket can be. There was a guy who played cricket for Victoria. So everyone goes on about how Australia was racist against Murali for chuckers, and no one knows that there's a guy who played cricket for Victoria who, in 10 games, I think it was 10 or 15 games, had a bowling average of 11 for Victoria in List A cricket. And he never even got called in a game, and they just refused to pick him ever again. So, and I've always pointed out that yes, there was political stuff with Murali and everything else, but even if you believe that Murali was a chucker, the fact that they let him play ultimately will help people not just get thrown out of the game for allegations, which is what used to happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with Santoki, I don't know if that was the case or not, right? I don't know if he went through the full testing.
And with him, weren't them fixing allegations? If I'm not wrong, he bowled no balls off the first 3 balls of an innings, and those were like no balls by a mile, and it came under the scanner. There was a lot.
It's
of
possible,
chatter
but I can tell you,
Yeah.
if that's the case to end your career, I can give you a name of about 70 other players. If you want,
Fair.
if you want me to go through the list of players, potentially some of them still in the IPL, right, who have done things that they shouldn't have done before.
You think you can say that on air?
Why no? Yeah, I mean, I'm not breaking any news here, Akshay. I'm pretty sure that 2 of the teams in the IPL were also kicked out, and I think a couple of other teams were lucky to get away with it. No, I mean, look, it's very rare that you are watching a cricket game where you haven't seen someone who has at one stage or another done something.
Really? You think it's that rampant? I mean, I'm genuinely asking.
Yeah, I do think it's that rampant. I don't think
And
it.
it's
I think it's got. I think it's got really worse in the last couple of years due to T10 leagues and veterans leagues.
But specifically about the IPL itself, like
The IPL is a fairly clean league at the moment, but to be honest,
Yeah.
PSL is a fairly clean league at the moment as well. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a guy out there at any one stage. As I said, if you're watching cricket, there's a chance. It used to be a couple of years ago when it was really bad that if you were watching a game, the chances are that something happened in that game that was down to a bet being placed by someone. I don't think we're at that level anymore. But over the last couple of years, there's a lot of guys who are playing in these veterans leagues, right? And there's lots of weird, dodgy things happening in these veterans leagues. And then they go back and coach. Right? They coach all around the world, these guys. You know?
Yeah, I've heard some very colorful stories from
Robbie played in one and he asked me what I thought. And I was like, man, these leagues are really, really toxic. You've got to be careful. You've got to keep your head down.
I mean, no, I think Robbie played in a league. He played for a league that happened in Bahamas last year. I think he was a part of it. I don't know if he was a part of the last edition or the edition before. And there was David Warner and everything. I was like, bro, Bahamas. I mean, a place that's known.
No, you're talking about the Are you talking about the Cayman Islands?
Cayman Islands. Yeah, not Bahamas.
If you're playing, that's where Glenn Lansley's playing, guys. That's how dodgy Cayman Islands is.
Yeah, like I mean, you know what Cayman Islands is famous or infamous for. If you're playing cricket there, Cayman Islands is essentially a bunch of Indian accountants who've gone and settled. Like that's how we talk about it in our circles.
I think if I'm not wrong, was it Cayman Islands that where one of the owners had his son playing for him?
Yeah.
How good was Praveen Kumar in the IPL? He was really, really good. At the new ball, I can't remember what his death stats were. I can probably try and bring something up for you if you want.
I think he's still is high on top of the list of most maidens bowled by a bowler. He was number 1 for the longest time before Bhuvi took over. I'm forgetting who or someone else, but I know he was damn good with the new ball and a guy I really liked. He was very feisty as well, very aggressive and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had some issues.
Yeah, to put it mildly.
Yeah, if you've been following his recent career, or not his recent career anymore, but
he's made some interesting statements. Yeah, that's true. Very interesting statements.
Didn't he headbutt someone on a field towards the end of his career?
I don't know about. I know that there's a video of him even now on YouTube where there were a couple of fans
Yeah.
trying to just,
Rohit
get
Sharma. It was just Rohit Sharma. They're
Rohit
trying to
Sharma's
get Rohit
attention.
Sharma.
Yeah,
And then he comes in and he's like, dude, don't mess with Rohit. Rohit is a good friend.
yeah. To
this-
And then Rohit
translate. Yeah.
yeah, it was at that time.
Here we go. Umpire says Praveen mentally unfit to play after a headbutt controversy. So I think it was that umpire he headbutted. It was quite a few years ago. I'm pretty sure he's talked about it since and gone through it. But yeah, as a player, I always thought he was a very, very good player. But he had one of the best
2010.
seams in the game.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Another good over
It
this,
was
by the
a-
way. Bartlett 5 singles here. And last ball is scooped. Oh, just away. But they've taken a lot of the sixes away here and just slowed them down a little bit. Sorry, Glenn, you were going to say?
2010 season, I think that was the time when he took that hat trick for RCB
Yeah.
when he played against Rajasthan. And
Yep.
yeah, it was it was at 2010 season. And one of the most reliable power play bowlers.
We have him as
Praveen
a slight plus overall. But if you look at his true economy, he's just below par. And he was just below par on wickets. So his raw numbers look really good. His advanced numbers make him look like a decent option. Automatic in your 11, but not a star.
But Praveen Kumar and Dale Steen sharing the new ball was really a sight to behold there. Yeah. His story was also interesting, if I'm not wrong, in the inaugural auction. Jared would probably know a lot about the inaugural auction or a lot more about the inaugural auction than average viewers like us because of how chaotic it was. So they had like 3 auctions or 2 auctions and then they had a separate draft and a bunch of things. And after all of these things, they still allowed teams to sign players. So Praveen Kumar had signed with RCB and Delhi at the same time. And both RCB and Delhi have gone ahead with whatever their documents are to submit it to the BCCI. And BCCI is like, hello, you can't play with 2 teams. And Praveen Kumar, he was like, but both of them are paying
Okay,
me
he's
money. I don't know
clobbered it
what
for
to
a
do.
6.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. He's clobbered it for a 6, and he brings. No, that's it.
I think he tried to hit that to the leg side and ended up hitting it a 6.
All right, guys, 100.
Oh,
Big Cock's 100,
jeez.
yeah.
How is that
101.
not for a 6, man? I thought he was miscued it. Wow.
Yeah, De Kock brought up his 100. He's 101 off 53 now. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see what his run rate is by different phases of this game. But I suppose the 6s off Shashank probably caught him back up a little bit again.
Let me check.
Actually,
for
I know,
that.
I know it's we were talking about bowling actions, we were talking about chucking and all of that in this conversation. There's a very interesting bowler I used to fan by from the West Indies, Jermaine Lawson. He had a very, very distinguished action when he'd bowl. Like I think he played along Merv Dillon and all those guys.
Oh my
and,
God! There might be an incredible catch down here on the boundary. Is that Shreyas Iyer has dived across the boundary to try and catch a 6 and then flicked it back to Xavier Bartlett. It just looked like it was going to be a 6. He's miles over the rope. Hardik is walking, so Hardik's taking his word for it, but this is crazy. I'll just need to see it again. I think
By
he's
the way,
managed to pull it off. He's got the
Wow,
ball
what a
in his-
catch it is. Wow.
His leg hits the Toblerone, but I think it hits the Toblerone after, right? I think he's safe. What an effort.
And my
I needed to-
stuck.
Here it is. So he's got the ball in his hands now. Ball in his hands, ball in his hands. When does he throw it? Oh, his hand is going low. Yes, he gets it away. What a brilliant catch that is. The ability to throw that up from that angle, it's very rare you see a player who's going so low after a catch who has the ability to throw it back correctly. We saw the Aiden Markram one the other day where Aiden Markram wasn't even expecting it.
Oh, wow. What an effort. That's a fantastic effort.
It's like I can live it all over again with you, Akshay, like 5 minutes after it happened.
But that's a fantastic effort. Wow. It reminds me of an effort by Raina, a similar effort by Raina, where he sort of pauses mid and you're almost like wondering how can you do that? Like it feels, inhuman to be able to do something like that.
Sivi says, Rob Barron just smiled a bit. That's how good this catch was. Rob might have it down as a drop because Shreyas Iyer didn't actually keep the ball himself. So
Fair.
Wow.
Excellent catch, that. Well done, man. Well done.
Prit's saying QDK is slowing down before 100. I don't think he slowed down before 100. I think he slowed down well before the 100. So I don't think it was about the 100. I just think he
By
was
the way,
struggling for a while.
Why do most Indian players
on that,
know
Jared,
the
I mean,
art of diving?
going by the traditional split of power. Yeah. Wait, you guys can hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. Going by the traditional split of power play middle overs up until the 16th and 17th to 20 death overs, Quinton de Kock scored 80 of 39 in the middle overs phase.
Yeah.
From 6 to 16, which is not bad at all. 80 of 39. Even if he slowed down in the end, if you're scoring 80 of 39, I'll take that happily.
I think he definitely tired. I think, as we said, we were probably thinking he needed to be retired out, and he didn't get retired out because they lost the other wicket. Not that I'm saying they would have. And then it makes it look worse because Hardik can't score. But also, you have to give Punjab some credit. I think they've actually bowled really well here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they, beforehand. Andy says, why do you think the IPL and PSL are cleaner than before? There are less anomalies in the betting. That's what I'm looking for. It's very clear, as you will see from my piece on Bangladesh Premier League. You can go find it. It is very easy to see anomalies in betting when there is fixing involved, as we just talked about with that women's game, right? It does not take me long to work out that there is something going wrong in that, and they're just not doing that. So a lot of the major cricket in the world at the moment is cleaner than it has been in a while, but there are still issues because a lot of these guys are playing in T10 leagues and, as I said, the veteran stuff. So there are still issues around. But the top leagues now, there's so much money involved. It's, if you're getting paid $200 or $300 a year, you're not going to get, you have to take a lot of risks to make that money sometimes in the gambling market, right?
That's true. And also about that, Jared, I wonder if he was he was asking more from the point of view of why do you think has it gone down and not why do you think it's reduced? Like from that lens, what are the reasons that it's just gone down in general?
I just think the money's finally caught up, right? At a certain point. I also think now, it used to be that you could probably do some fixing, do a little bit of fixing.
Oh, it's bad. Rutherford's bat is broken.
Oh, already. It used to be that you would make, I think there were a lot of players who were making the vast majority of their money from fixing for a while there, right? Now, you make the vast majority of your money from playing in the leagues.
Fair.
So that's not to say that there aren't people still on the take, because I'm sure there are. But it isn't like before where you could literally go to the betting market and be like, this doesn't make any sense. This team should be 130 and they're 260, right? Or this next over, everyone thinks that this next over is going for 20 runs. How is that possible? It's just it's the sixth over of the innings, right? All those sorts of things don't happen as much. There is, though, much more money laundering in cricket than ever before, and I think a lot of these new leagues have moved on from match fixing to money laundering.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
What will it take to have him fixing back? What kind of question is this? What will it take to have fixing back?
Oh, good shot here from de Kock. Arshdeep coming around the wicket, bowls a full toss and just flipped over. Siddharth said Hardik is swatting the balls like he's using a mosquito bat at home. Mosquito racket? Mosquito bat? Do you have a mosquito bat?
Yeah. Those electric bats.
Okay, one of those.
Swat the mosquitoes, yeah.
I would have thought that was a racket. Don't they have little strings on them?
Yeah, it's a racket. Yeah, it's a racket.
Maybe he just changed it for cricket. Andy says, this feels like a slow pitch for Wankhede. I don't think it was slow earlier on. I think as the balls got softer, it's been a little bit harder to just sit there and muscle the ball. But it certainly wasn't when the ball was hard in the middle, was it?
That is true. Meanwhile, Sivi asks, is BBL clean?
Depends on the doctor.
There's some people will know what that means, some people won't. I actually remember, I won't say the name of the person, but I was in Dubai with a former IPL coach once. and he was walking around and he just kept looking at every woman's ass and he goes, I don't understand. Like, I didn't know women were built like that here. And I went, that's all surgery, buddy. That's not how their asses are. And he's like, what? And I was like, they've got butt implants. And he went, what? He didn't even know it was a thing.
For some reason, there's just one name that came to my mind when you said the former IPL coach. And I'm assuming this guy's an Aussie. So I can't think
No,
of
he's not an Aussie,
Like,
this
I
guy.
can. Oh, all right. Oh, that actually narrows it down quite.
Yeah, it does narrow it down.
Yeah.
It's not like a head coach, though. It's just a guy who was, involved in a franchise for a few years. Praveen Kumar has said, why don't most of the Indian players know the art of diving? By diving wrongly, they're suffering from injury. I know this is going to sound silly, but again, this goes back to children's cricket. Have you seen the state of the grounds that these kids play in India? I grew up in Melbourne where the council would make our grounds. So they weren't even private grounds, right? And yet you could dive without any issue on most of our grounds. The worst thing you were going to do is find a needle from a heroin junkie who'd thrown it down there. That was the worst thing that was going to happen. Look at some of these grounds around the world that kids are playing on. It's hard to learn to dive at a young age.
Yep. In fact, with women's cricketers as well, that's something that international cricketers themselves have spoken about in India. Even some of the domestic matches that happen, they happen on sandpits. And how are you ever going to get out of that? It's very hard. By the way, even Mukul Chaudhary, the fantastic knock that he played against KKR, was his first ever game under lights. First ever game.
Rutherford's just been bowled, by the way. So he got stuck and Hardik got stuck. I think this is a very tough pitch when you first come out. Right? I don't think once you get set, as we saw with the other two, I think it's fine. But I do think it's a harder pitch when you first come out. It was a good ball from Arshdeep, but he was stuck before that ball, right?
Yeah. And by the way, the ball was reverse swinging a tad bit. I felt it just
It just faded back in. Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Lovely.
Guys, we were looking for a 200 plus. Do you think we can still go for it?
I mean, the Kock's done well.
I mean, de Kock has to face almost every ball at this stage to get them up there, doesn't he?
Yep.
By the way, Rutherford got the line so horribly wrong. I don't know if he did not account for the swing or what happened, but he played down he played it completely down the wrong line.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to the ball.
Sandkelp says, retiring out a player, wouldn't it be Schrodinger's situation type decision making? How best to retire a player? This is the issue, is we could have made a pretty good case that Quinton de Kock was getting tired before and that he was going to struggle to hit runs. And we were kind of right. He did slow down for a little while, right? And yet the two batters they've set out who absolutely smashed the ball everywhere have made what? 19 off 19 balls?
Yeah.
20 balls? Since then,
something
right?
like that.
So that's the problem with retiring out. You can make the right decision and it still doesn't work for you. As I said, you get yourself into a position of you make a decision, but the other batters still have to get set.
15 of 17, the other batters, Pandya and Rutherford combined.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
1 of 5 and 14 of 11 or 12?
12. Yeah.
Well, this is the last ball of Arshdeep's over. He's got 3 for 18 today. He's bowled a full toss down the leg side that is hit for 4. You don't have to worry about the pitch being difficult when you come in. If the first ball you get is a full toss down the leg side. He was going for the Yorker. Tilak has got a little bit on it and it's gone for 4.
Preet says, I don't think the pitch is bad. The Punjab bowlers are nailing middle stump Yorkers with the slow deliveries, the slow bouncers rather. This seems like a much below par total. The way the Mumbai team started, and Naman and de Kock taking it away, looked like we'd cross 220, 230, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the bowlers have bowled well, better in the second half, but I don't think they were bowling poorly before, right? And so, I think there has to be an element of maybe the pitch was slightly easier to bat on early on, and they got themselves behind because of the 2 early wickets. So you could still make an argument they're a little bit under par. Remember that Punjab are also a really good bowling side. They've got lots of different varied bowling options, and Shashank Singh.
Again, the question everyone's asking, should Tilak have been sent a little earlier on?
Nah. Once they moved past him, once Naman was sent earlier, 16th, 17th over, it always makes sense to send Hardik and Rutherford, so there's no reason. So that's all
The
right.
the hitters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just didn't work, right? I mean, some days they're not going to work. Just looking at that Rutherford one again, you are right that he played he played down the wrong line, but it did swing a fair bit. So I think he probably
Yeah,
would have hit it normally.
yeah, yeah.
Short to Kock, who mishits this out to the leg side, but they'll get a couple. So Vaishak's bowling the last over, and he's gone for what 29 runs in after 14 balls so far.
Yeah, Kaushal has a question that would make every bowler right now just more uncomfortable. Why are we not allowing players to retire without losing their wicket? Then what next? Like, what do the bowlers do? Just sit there and get their asses ripped apart? Just batters doing whatever they want whenever they feel like it.
If we get to substitutions where we have 15, 16, 18 players playing in a game, we'll probably have this regulation, won't we? But at the moment, I actually like the idea of if you want to give up if you want to make a tactical decision, you have to lose a wicket to make that tactical decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes it, I think, more interesting when you do it, right? Otherwise, we
No
we can do it-
consequences.
Yeah, there was a famous CPL game where I think Chris Lynn and I want to say Sun on their own. I can't remember if it was them, but they were playing for TKR, and they both came out to open the batting. And Chris Lynn was going to face the first ball, and so the spinner came on, right? And then they swapped ends, Lynn and Narain, and then the pace bowler came on, and they just and it was like a 6-minute delay while everyone was arguing about who was going to face the first ball. And I think there's now a regulation where you can't keep swapping the batters or something like that. I can't remember what it is now, but. That imagine if we could do that every over and we're just retiring people out without losing a wicket as Tilak gets a boundary away here. Do you know what I mean? Like if we're doing that, so Ashwin comes on the bowl. Actually, Jadeja comes on to bowl, and you're like, great, Shivam Dubey walks out to bat, right? And then they see Shivam Dubey walk out to bat, and they're like, oh, okay, we're going to get Jamie Overton to bowl this ball. So then Shivam Dubey walks back off, and they get someone else, like.
Wow.
But what's the regulation? Do you know, Jared? What's the regulation that they brought in to sort of?
I know you can do it at the start of the innings. There is something that I think once the batter has chosen an end, it's up to the bowling team to decide who they want to bowl until the last minute.
So who has to decide first? The batting team has to decide.
I believe
Who
so.
has to
I
decide?
believe so. I'd have to
Okay.
go back and check, but I think.
Alright.
Oh, is there a run-out chance here? It's the last over, of course. Tilak hits the ball into the ground, and I think he is going to be just short. So he was 8 off 2. So they sent in all their hitters to hit boundaries, and they didn't. And then their specialist batter came in and hit 2 of them in 2 balls, and is now run himself out.
Oh, that's run out.
I
they've
think
already
so.
Given it out.
The fast stream I have is not always the easiest to pick up the little details. But yes, I think this will be out by about an inch.
Yep. Avi Pandey, meanwhile, has spent $5 to tell us that finally someone's told Arshdeep that he can bowl stump Yorkers too, and reminded him that he was really good at it. Rohit's reaction on Iyer's catch was so us.
Okay, so the one thing I would say about the Yorkers is I think if the ball's reversing, most bowlers are more likely to bowl at the stumps. And if it's not reversing, more likely to bowl wide. But also, a couple of times in this tournament, he's bowled wide when he hasn't had to, right? So maybe someone's just had a word with him and said, do it when you have to. If the expected runs off an over is like 18, bowl wide Yorkers and see if you can ball them out. If the expected runs is like 9 and the opposition's not hitting the ball anywhere, just bowl at the base of the stumps. Last ball of the innings, scooped back over the bowler's head, and they come back for 2. So 195. So the chase will be 196. Quinton de Kock, an incredible innings here. He's ended up with 110 off 59. It kind of went through 3 different phases, his innings, all the way through. But generally, outside of a little period around his 70s and 80s, when he wanted to find a boundary, he managed to find it. But you'd have to say, if he's managed 112 off 60 balls, the rest of Mumbai have underperformed a little bit. At the moment, we have Punjab at a 55% chance of winning, which I think seems pretty fair.
Agreed.
We'll be back after the break with some of us gentlemen and some of us not gentlemen, and Rob Barron might come in and everything else. But thanks for being with us for the first innings, and we'll see you in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Or we're not going to a podcast. Are we going to a podcast, Vignesh? Or are we not going to a podcast? Because we still seem to be here and we can't leave until you say we can leave. Welcome back to Combox. Goodbye to
All right,
Combox.
we'll do. Should we do an improv podcast because we don't have a podcast?
I need to go to the toilet. Where has he
All
gone?
right.
I don't know if I can play it. Can I just play it?
Can you play it? I know I can't.
Combox. The game lives on. I'm still here. It was a batter. 11 runs and over were needed when they started. It was more than 15 needed with 9 overs still to bowl. That is a tough chase in any era. But this was Rajasthan Royals going after 213 in 2010. At the crease was a batter who didn't look the part. His athleticism didn't match how we saw batting. He looked like a bowler who likes to slog. But this day, he was stuck. 15 from 14 with no timing at all. Then Ali Mataza bowls a full toss. His eyes light up. He flexes his lean muscular frame and swings. It goes in the air, a tough chance, and the fielder only gets fingertips. It falls. And at this point, it doesn't feel like a big deal. It's just a drop from a bowling team who are well on top. In the end, it was one of the biggest mistakes a fielding team could make. Because after this was 11 straight boundaries. He was 15 off 14, and 23 balls later, he crossed 100. Then, the then fastest IPL century. And it should have ended in glory. Instead, it was a run-out. An impossible chase, ending on the edge of victory. A week later, former Test player Mike Selby from The Guardian called Yusuf a mediocre, cumbersome batsman, whose only assets were a good eye, considerable strength, and a decent blade. He concluded that he presumably just got lucky in that freakish way that sometimes happens. And he called him an IPL natural, not as a compliment. Mike Selby is describing a monster. And unfortunately, this is also how the public perceived him to be. Just a strong freak who could hit far and nothing more. And on the other side of the equation, Shane Warne called it the greatest innings he had ever seen. When it comes down to it, Yusuf Pathan was too early for our meager 2010 minds to understand. He looked like a slogger, and those had limited value. We knew that this was something that we didn't have to take seriously. Warne was wrong that this was the greatest innings he'd ever seen. And Selby was wrong that this was luck. Yusuf Pathan was something that we couldn't understand then. But now, looking back, he wasn't a slogger or a great. He was a genetic mutation of batting. Cricketers had been good against spin before, but he was the first one sent to destroy it. My latest book is The Art of Batting. It delves deep into how the best players ever made their runs. Get your copy today. That day, Yusuf Pathan hit 46 runs off 14 balls against spin. And in 2014, he made 44 runs off 14 balls again. Even now, he has 2 of the fastest knocks ever against the turning ball. For a minimum of 1,000 runs, Yusuf has the second highest true strike rate versus spin in the IPL, only behind Glenn Maxwell. But he is ahead of Chris Gale, David Warner, and Shane Watson. And that 1,000 run mark is important, because this is not someone who just got lucky. It is a player who was a great specialist. He wasn't just good at playing spin, but destroying it. A grotesque killing machine. Yusuf had 2 seasons where he's averaging over 60 and striking at more than 2 runs a ball against spin. Heinrich Klaassen, Rajat Patidar, and Nicholas Puran haven't done that. But Yusuf also had 4 seasons with an average of more than 40 and a strike rate of over 140. This isn't Sunil Narayan getting on a roll sometimes. Yusuf continually crushed and stayed in against the turning ball. He has 5 seasons where his true strike rate is over 35. 2 of those are near 80, which we thought was a typo. And if you're into anchors, he also has 5 seasons where his true average is more than 35. But the good times stopped. And when they did, it was as if someone found an antidote to stop him. Yusuf's true strike rate versus the turning ball is 36 until 2016 and minus 24 afterwards. That's a 60-point swing. And in the same time, he only had a small drop in his pace batting. Yusuf went from the best hitter of spin ever to a normal human. And it wasn't just the turning ball, though. Before 2017, he didn't spare any kind of bowling. He had a true strike rate of over 25 versus all the types of bowling, barring right-arm pace. In fact, this makes him weirder. It is very rare to have your worst record against the thing you face the most. And as a right-hander, he was best against left-arm finger spin, which is even more bizarre. It was like he was a mutant who developed in the wrong way. And Yusuf didn't need time to get going against spin, a rarity for most batters. Only 10 players out of 48 have a positive true strike rate in their first 10 balls against spin. Yusuf's is 23. However, his true average in the first 10 balls is 20, whereas Maxwell's is minus 11. He could go from ball 1 and not get out. And once he's set, that true strike rate jumps up to 51, smashing spin from the get-go and crushing their soul when he's set. And yet, Yusuf didn't always start this way against pace. In fact, he was much slower. So this was a weapon, dangerous in the right hands, but could blow up in your face if you didn't use him properly. And the way Shane Warne deployed Yusuf was almost perfect. 45% of his entry points for Rajasthan were in the 7 to 11 over phase, when the spinners had started to dominate. That meant he could face the matchup he loved from ball 1, and as we've already established, once set, nothing you bowl matters.
Yeah, Yusuf, I mean, what Dino, he's just a match winner. I said before that all the tournaments that we've played in since I've been involved in the IPL, that match winners will win you the competitions. And Yusuf, we're very lucky. We've got the best match winner in the competition. He's very easygoing. He's very relaxed, and the more pressure you can't. He's not one of those guys that even if he does badly, give him the size 10. You need to just put your arm around him, make him feel good, and he'll go out and perform the best for you. So, yeah, he's good fun to have around too. We see him as a leader of the group, and the way he strikes the ball is as clean as anyone I've seen.
And Warne knew exactly what he had. He said he strikes the ball as cleanly as anyone I've ever seen. Warne said that he's not one of those guys who, when he does badly, you just give him your size 10. You need to put your arm around him, make him feel good, and he will go out and perform the best for you. It's one thing to understand the utility of a player, but another to work out their psychology. And Yusuf confirms all this. Before coming to the IPL, Warne studied my game and gave me the freedom to play as I wanted. He showed confidence in me right from the first game. The irony that one of the greatest spinners ever worked out how to destroy spin with a weapon he helped unleash. And changing sides muscled him. The latest Yusuf ever entered for Rajasthan was in the 15th over. For Kolkata, they didn't see it that way. From 2011 to 13, he was largely an afterthought, entering in his ideal phase just 23% of the time, and frequently sent in at the death where he was way less effective. Now remember, Kolkata bought Yusuf for $2.1 million, but they didn't really know how to use it. Overall, you'd have to say that Gambhir did a solid job using Yusuf, but he didn't understand him the way that Warne did. India, on the other hand, did not get the memo at all. Yusuf's medium entry point was in the 8th over for Rajasthan, the 10th over for Kolkata, and the 13th for India. In that era, spinners often didn't bowl much after the 14th over. India had a weapon of mass destruction, and they misplaced their keys. India used them in this ideal phase half as much as Rajasthan did. And on the rare occasions India did put him in earlier, the scores were 48 for 4, 61 for 5, 37 for 5, and 100 for 5. Even in his ideal phase, both arms were tied behind his back and he was set up to fail. Both India and Kolkata early on miscast Yusuf. He was a big, strong man that hit the ball a long way, so naturally they assumed he'd be good at coming in at the end to finish. And they weren't alone in making this tactical error. Australia did this with Andrew Simons, Mumbai Indians did this with Kieran Pollard, and Chennai Super Kings did this with LB Morkel. In fact, go back to Lance Klusener and South Africa in the 90s. If you're built like a refrigerator, teams often push you back further and further. But in reality, your best usage might be up the order. Yusuf wasn't a finisher that could occasionally hit spin. He was a specialist middle overs spin destroyer that on occasions could finish a game. Completely different roles. And unfortunately for Yusuf, this misreading haunted his international career. And yet, even in the wrong role, the T20I numbers tell you exactly what India were leaving on the table. If we look at Indian batters versus spin until 2016, Yusuf had a strike rate of 175. The next highest was Yuvraj Singh at 129. MS Dhoni was striking at 91. So Yusuf is 45 points ahead of the next best player and nearly double his skipper. Even playing in the wrong role and coming in at the wrong time, he still managed to bash spin whenever he faced it. Naturally, his best utility would be as a middle order batter in Asia. However, in his entire T20 international career, only 3 of his 18 innings came there. And twice he batted at number 8, and once was at number 7. And all 3 of these times, India was already in a crisis. The first time he walked in, the score was 110 for 6, needing 53 to win. He hits 22 off 10, including 16 off 4 balls versus the leg spinner Malinga Bandara, who had already taken 3 wickets and was barely going at a run a ball before Yusuf won the game. I mean, you can tie his hands behind his back, put him in a Hessian bag, and chuck weights in with him. He's still going to crack a 6 from spin. Yusuf last played a T20 international in March of 2012, a rain-affected game in which he didn't even get to bat. That was just before they headed into 3 T20 World Cups that took place in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and India, respectively. India dropped their best spin hitter on the back of failing against pace in a role he wasn't designed for, mainly outside of Asia. They muted their mutant. In these tournaments, where both playing and bowling spin would play a central part in determining your fate, India had strike rates of 111, 103, and 101, barely over a run a ball in 2014 and 2016. They were the 7th worst team in terms of strike rate across these 3 T20 World Cups. 3 batters went at less than a run a ball in this time frame. 1 would be a liability. 3 is a systemic issue. Meanwhile, in the IPL in that same period, 5 of the players in the World Cup teams had a strike rate below 120 versus spin. The best of the lot was Virat Kohli with 137. Yusuf Pathan was 147. In the 2012 edition, they needed a big, fast win over South Africa, and they got completely stuck against spin. In 2014, for the final, the Indian batters got stuck versus the Sri Lankan spinners, who ended with figures of 1 for 45 in 8 overs. In 2016, India made the semi-finals, put on 192 and still lost. In that, Samuel Badri bowled 4 overs, 1 for 26. The bowlers with the next lowest economy was Suleiman Ben, who went for 36 runs with his left arm spin. Something Yusuf would eat. India had this incredible beast man and 3 tournaments in which to unleash him, and they kept him in mothballs. Yusuf Pathan was flawed and weird, and he didn't fit in with the batting orthodoxy of his time. He was punk in the 60s, a tech genius from the 1800s. Shane Warne saw it, but few others did. No one could tell what India might have been with Yusuf Pathan in the middle overs, feasting on the souls of the poor spinners who went up against him. Instead, he was miscast and then outcast. But you watch cricket today, and you see little parts of Yusuf in Shivam Dubey, Rajat Patidar, Heinrich Klaassen, Nicholas Puran, and Abhishek Sharma. And Yusuf Pathan was where that strain of batting first mutated. Sometimes, do you scream because of how much you love cricket? Well, then here's another video for you. Or if you like books, you can buy mine, The Art of Batting. And if this video is for you, howl into the bell icon.
Hello.
I'll come on as well. Can I come on? The last couple of minutes have not been our most seamless level of production, but we're here. It's Jared, it's Rob. It's me coughing into the microphone just to make it a little bit worse. What did you make of the first innings, Rob?
Perplexing is what I made of it. It was very, very strange pitch, which had a bit of everything apart from spin, didn't it? It did everything. And at the start, you're thinking, well, if this swing carries on the way it's going, then they can't possibly stay in. And then they started hitting the ball to Chahal. And then they didn't try and run and let Shreyas have a go at Skittles, which he missed. And then it got very, very easy, didn't it? And then it got very, very hard again. It was really weird innings.
Yeah.
What did you put the lack of scoring at the end down to, Jared?
I think it's a hard pitch when you haven't been in it on it.
Okay.
I think other than Tilak, everyone else who came in took a little while to get going. And I just think that, because we were talking about whether de Kock should have been, because he looked gassed at one stage.
He really did. Yeah, a couple of stages.
And we were like, they might have to retire him here. But actually, it's probably the wrong kind of pitch to retire. I mean, other than the fact he batted brilliantly and had no issues. The first one swings back into the stumps, is pushed down the ground. I'll take a one. Oh, there's some sawdust out there, which he just put his ass in. Yeah, so I think it was a hard pitch to start on, but I also do think it was much harder to hit the ball towards the end of the innings, didn't you? I did think they bowled well, but I don't think they bowled poorly when they were getting smashed earlier.
No, it was strange. I think if they'd have fielded properly, and they'd have got both of those two out.
What do you
when
mean?
They had the
When you
chance.
say fielded properly, I don't understand that, because Chahal took one of the greatest catches of his life.
So
One
if
of the
they'd
only catches of his life.
If they'd have fielded properly, they would have had Dhir out for 10 and Kock out for about 15 or 20. And then everybody's got to start, haven't they? Everyone's got to come in at difficult points, and it becomes a lot more difficult. So the fielding let them off the hook. It's one of those, the market thinks that it's not enough, the 195.
Yeah.
The market thinks, no, that's not enough. They're going to chase these easy. I mean,
Pro-
I was very,
Simran-
very pro Punjab before the game, but not so much right now.
Prab Simran just played a beautiful shot off his pads here, off Chahar for 4. Past mid wicket. Yeah, I don't have strong opinions on whether they will chase this or not at the moment, because I kind of want to see how, because they lost early wickets, didn't they? And that sort of seemed to play a part. There's another boundary here. This is
Lovely
just
race.
lovely shot on the offside to backward point for 4, or third really for 4. Yeah, I'm a bit with you. I think it was a bit up and down at different times, or I couldn't work out what was happening. I mean, there was legitimately, it was ridiculous swing early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like moon swing. It was as if it was spinning, but they were bowling it at 88 miles an hour, and it looked completely unplayable. And then you would think, if one man is going to get swing opening the bowling in the second innings for this team, it's Chahar, and he's got none. It doesn't look like it's swinging at all. Certainly nowhere near what it was like. Like, they've just played. Prab Simran there has just looked like it's coming on beautifully. Everything straight out the middle of the bat. He's rolled his wrist over one to get a boundary on one side of the wicket, and Iyer's away at the other end. It looks dead easy now, but it looked impossible the first the first 3 overs? Impossible.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, the wickets they got though were a bit tinny.
Yeah. It's such a silly sport, isn't it, cricket? Such a silly sport.
Don't you
Bang.
think though, that once Chahal took that catch, there was no way he was going to be able to take the other one, Rob? I don't feel like you've. There's a 6 over point, by the way.
And what a start this is. So it was like 53 Punjab, and now it's 67.
Yeah.
That's I think Deepak Chahar might be a spent force in the IPL. I thought maybe that at the start of the season, and every time I've seen him since, he's bowled worse. And I thought this is the one where he's going to get conditions that help him. And he looks very easy to hit. They've got 16 off 5. He needs the wicket now. That's 17 off 5 instead.
I do wonder though if he's also he's not slowed down.
No, he's just not getting the swing that he used to get.
Yeah,
It doesn't look effective at all to me.
he was injured all the way up until this tournament, wasn't he?
Yeah, okay, we'll give him that. But he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't he, the last few years?
Yeah.
So they've gone Gazanfer and not Bolt, which I bet they wish they could swap that.
Yeah, that's not going to work for them now, is it? Chahar comes in again. This is pulled away for another boundary. So 21 runs off the first over.
Sheesh, that's a lot, isn't it? That's a lot of
we've
runs.
got another one of these close games.
We are being treated as in close games. Basically, the IPL so far has either been really, really good close game or absolute blowout, terrible shocker. And I don't know. I had very high hopes at halftime that this was going to be a humdinger, and now Chahar has pissed on my chips.
It's quite an interesting game, this, because the betting market's quite low. And also, like, our numbers today are lower than other days. So it feels like no one's kind of fully invested in this game yet.
As the last few games sort of put them off a bit, because we've had some rubbish ones, haven't we? Like, we were lucky last week to have the 2, mad last ball finishes in consecutive games. And maybe everybody thought, well, Bumrah into the attack early, by the way. Second over is not something he does very often, but they've gone, right, you've chucked away 21 runs in this first over. We're going to our trump card right now.
Is it not also a Gazanfar pick?
How do you mean?
Well, not having Bolt.
Yeah, I guess it is. Because I hate having Bolt and Chahar in the same side, because they're both getting worse rather than getting better, and they both must bowl the first over. They both must bowl the first over.
Because the only other option is Hardik, isn't it, here?
Yeah. I didn't like Hardik putting himself in ahead of Rutherford. I really didn't like that move.
I'm not sure which direction that would have helped them, to be honest, in the end.
Yeah, Rutherford looked like he had a blindfold on. Like you say, it looked very difficult to start at the end, but his entry point's much better 5 overs earlier, as Bumrah bowls one of the worst bowls he's ever bowled, which is shoveled into the leg side for a very easy four. Just hip high nonsense, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they were 55% chance of winning this, Mumbai, coming into this innings. They're now a 29% chance. That's worse,
I mean, the
Rob.
Mumbai tax was in full force before the game, wasn't it? 1.85.
I thought about it on air again. It's crazy, isn't it?
They were 1.6 to beat bloody RCB. You know, so they're going off favourites to beat the best two teams. At some point, no, it won't. That's nonsense. The market won't realise that Mumbai are about the 6th best team in this IPL, because that's about where they are at the moment. They're not in the top 4, are they?
Akshay's here with us.
Hi, Akshay.
Yep. Hello. We've got representation from each of cricket's big three. Shall we decide the fate of the rest of the cricketing world right now?
Well, if the way the big three's gone, I think that means me and Rob have to be kicked out. Me first.
Fair enough. Oh, man.
But I am available if you want to privatize me. Also, that's what I used to say in bars to ladies.
I wonder how that went, how that worked for you.
That never worked particularly well. Do you want?
We would have been a good combination on the Paul Jarrett back in the day, I think.
Do you want to hear the best story I have of being in a bar and ruining a conversation with a woman who I was definitely going to go home with?
Yes, please.
So she was a writer and I was a writer, and awesome.
Ooh.
Like, this is going to work. We're chatting, really good conversation. And then out of nowhere, she goes, "What do you write on?" And I went, "Oh, just my laptop." And she goes, "Oh, you don't do handwriting?" And I went, "What?" She goes, "I write everything down by hand." And I said, "Well, how do you give it to like a publisher or a thing or whatever?" She goes, "I type it up afterwards, but I write by hand. It's called writing." She goes, "Shakespeare did it." And I went, "Yeah, because they didn't have a laptop. Are you nuts? Like, if Shakespeare had a laptop, he would have used a laptop. He used the best technology of his time to write down his stuff." And she went, "Anyway, it's been a pleasure." And she walked off.
So to be clear, you're saying she wrote and then she typed that and then she sent it across.
Yeah, then she wrote a great article about the heathen that she met down the road.
It's always when you're going well with a girl in a bar, it's always best to just massively argue with her about something. They love that, particularly early on.
Especially with something that's particularly close to them. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go about it.
There was another great one I had in a very similar situation where things are going really well. And this woman said something about how Muslims hate Jesus. And I went, "No, they don't. Like, he's literally part of their religion." She goes, "No, you don't know anything." I was like, "Well, I've read the Quran and I know that Jesus is mentioned like in Islamic teachings all the way through." And she didn't believe me. And so, again, that one didn't go particularly well.
Another good topic to start with is religion and
It's a very safe topic. People are
extremely...
Gazan early. 26 without loss after 2. They're pulling out all the guns or whatever guns they have available. I've got really good stories like that, Rob. Actually, now I think about it, I think I've got about 7 or 8. Where I talked myself into a situation and then back out of it again.
Jared, if you want stories where I have set myself on fire in bars talking to girls, I've got them for days. Don't worry about that. I spent years and years doing that.
And Rob means quite literally.
Oh, yeah, I was an absolute specialist.
I once accidentally poured petrol on myself and then lit a match.
I love how both of you are trying to one-up each other on how bad dates have been.
I have actually been set on fire during a night out, and I will tell that story if nothing happens on this ball. And it was when my now wife was there, but we weren't even together at the time, and she was apparently encouraging some of the people as
he's out. No one wants that story. It's a half volley on middle stump, and he's hit that straight to short mid wicket with a bit of a slog sweep attempt, and he's gone. Do you know what he just did there? He set himself on fire, Rob.
He really did. that ball should have been second tier. And to be fair to Iyer, he normally does. He normally gets rid of the bad ball, doesn't he? But he absolutely didn't that time. My God, Mumbai needed that.
Oh my word!
One man there, which is Chahar, is it? Justifying his place, and he hit it exactly straight to him, which is what they did in the first innings to Chahal, but he jumped out of the way.
Yep.
Got to take your chances. You're going to win games like this.
Yeah, meanwhile, Karthik also says, guys, please no religion or politics. This watch-along is really precious and I don't want to lose it. Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, we don't do that anyway. I don't know anything
Anyway,
about
that's not actually technically religion. That's history. But
Ooh. All right. Nicely done. Nicely done. Excellent save. I'll give that.
you missed it before when we were talking about Western Australia almost not joining Australia, Rob. You missed all the sexy stuff.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Nice.
So you're lighting yourself on fire in this bar.
So I didn't no. We were at like a barbecue and about, I don't know, 10 of us had stayed late. It was in Spain. There was a pool. There was lots of drink going on and stuff. And my special move back in the day when I drank a fair bit, I used to, try and work quite hard and keep up my drinking career at the same time. I used to fall asleep quite a lot if I was drunk.
Yeah.
That would be
Ladies love that one too.
Oh, they love that, particularly talking to it. But so I fell asleep, and then my friends obviously then tried to put things between my toes and set them on fire. Very standard behaviour. And then somebody had a hat, which obviously woke me up, and I was like, "Come on, lads!" But they're like, "We're by a pool. Everything's fine. Just jump in it if you get set on fire." And then somebody had like a big straw hat, and they thought it'd be funny to set the hat on fire. There's a video of this somewhere. Set the hat on fire and put it on my head to wake me up, which they did, and then I put the hat on myself and wandered around with a burning hat. And the person that stopped all this several years later became my wife, which is interesting because if it happened now, she would be the one with the petrol.
I was going to say, I would have thought she would have lit it.
Oh my word. Yeah, that way I must say, like, in a very weird sense, I've not had such rowdy friends or dates for that matter. So yeah, I'll probably take that as a pat on my back right now.
I had a date that turned into the scene from Jaws, right? Have you both seen Jaws? This is pushed on the offside. There's no run. You know the scene with
Jaws?
It's actually seen a movie.
Yeah, I've seen Jaws, of course, Steven Spielberg and everything. Please, come on, guys. I'm very much.
You know when they're all sitting around the table and they're talking about all the injuries that they've got in their lives?
Yeah.
I had a date that somehow turned into that. And this girl, she was an athlete, and she just kept finding new scars. And it was actually a lot of fun, right? But it was at a certain point of like, I think we've moved beyond any sexual tension here. And at this stage, the only thing that we could do to save this night is for one of us to be killed by a shark.
I think if you get into really good conversations, that can definitely be your downfall, because then you become fun and interesting rather than a proposition for anything physical happening. That's my excuse.
Also, once you've showed her all your deformities, you are taking. I mean, it's. I don't think look smashing is a good idea.
Though, Jared, do you get kicked out?
Well, I didn't have any around my groin.
Oh my word. That's interesting.
These conversations.
By the way, Gazanfar's bowled a brilliant over here, and Connolly has not scored off it, which does kind of. Everyone's excited about Connolly, and I really like him as a cricketer. I'm not sure he's a great starter against spin.
No. 21 off the first, 5 off the second, 1 off the third. What's going to happen now?
This is dropped, is what's going to happen now. A terrible ball by Hardik Pandya, a slower wide one that is hit straight to backward point. And was that Bumrah?
Why, for the love of God, is Jasprit Bumrah at backward point? How's that happened? How has that happened?
He's actually at backward point, or are you guys taking the mickey out of him?
No, he's actually at backward point, and he just dropped a really easy catch. So that is entirely the captain's fault, because he decides where people stand.
He actually might be at short third, but it's a very square short third.
Yeah. I'll
okay. But it's either way, it's a catching position, isn't it? He's in the ring.
But I wouldn't mind having a pacer there, because you would want to imagine it's not a very busy region, because it's very, this position in particular might be a lot more squarer, like Jared said. But yeah, that was a straightforward catch. I guess Nah, they've probably returned.
Next
Shahil's
ball is a 4,
favour.
by the way, as well, as it just guided through. And then Hardick's done that thing that bowling captains do that I absolutely love. My favourite thing for a bowling captain in T20 cricket is after they is to bowl the 7th over. That's the most awesome thing. The second most awesome thing is to come in straight after you bowled it and then move the field as if all the fielders are in the wrong spot when you've just bowled a shithouse ball.
Lots of staring at people. And also, you then bowl the over just after a wicket or 2 wickets that somebody else has got, and then you take yourself off when they start whacking it again.
To be fair, I didn't think it was that bad a ball, but he had a big gap on the offside, and Cooper Connolly just sort of steered it there.
Yep. My drinking superpower, says Siddharth, is randomly falling asleep on my girlfriend's shoulders every time we smoked up or got drunk.
I
But
hope
why is
he
that a
means
superpower?
leaning on her shoulders and not the way that I read that, which is with his legs around her. She's walking and he's like falling asleep on top of her.
I mean, is that a superpower?
Yeah.
No,
There's one
yeah,
where
exactly. my
when I used to
question.
work nights, so I used to do 12-hour night shifts back in the day for the bookies. Can you believe that? Before the bookies, 12-hour night shifts. And I would still try and go out as Connolly
Cooper's
slapped
humped this
straight.
one down the ground. Yeah.
And I would go out drinking, but because my body clock was so messed up because I just lived a normal life and happened to do 12-hour night shifts during it, I used to fall asleep a lot when I drank then. And there was a good one where I sat down. There was randomly an armchair in a nightclub, and I sat in the armchair and obviously fell asleep. And then all my friends were pushing me around the dance floor of a nightclub in an armchair while I was asleep. That was a good one.
That's probably your best dancing.
Yeah.
But drunk me is actually very active. I'm one of those who gets hyperactive, who dances, who thinks he can teach Michael Jackson how to dance, who thinks he can teach whoever the best in singing is how to sing. I sing, I dance, I get very loud. At least that's what my friends say. I'll take their word for it.
I would like to see this. It was a 6, by the way, not a 4. It went all the way.
It did it? Oh, okay.
Now we'll ask the betting maestro about that. Where can I bet on the number of Diet Cokes Rob will consume during
So
extreme
this is an
fasts?
issue, right, Jake? It's something I have a terrible relationship with, and I went cold turkey, and it's worse than coming off heroin and crack, and it's definitely worse than coming off alcohol, which I've actually come off before. Coming off Diet Coke because it's got all the things that end in ME that you shouldn't have in your body, aspartame, meme, and all that.
Yeah.
And when the IPL started again, I worked so many hours in the IPL because I have a 40-hour week day job as well. So then doing all this stuff and everything else around it and family stuff means I don't get masses of opportunity to sleep. So I am propped up on Diet Coke, which is terrible for you. Don't do it unless you're watching Diet Coke, in which case keep sending me crates of it because I'm going through it like mad.
By the way, I just came across a video today that spoke about how Diet Coke is almost just as healthy as water because it's 99% water.
No, it's not. Burn the article. It's basically, it tricks your body. So it has no sugar and all that, but your body says it is sugar because it's all the fake sugar, and then your body craves all the shit, all the bad stuff. It's awful stuff.
I love how Rob is talking
Cooper
about
Connolly.
the bad effects of Diet Coke while sipping one in front of us on the stream. So
Cooper Connolly's helped this off his hip for 6. This is a good hit, but it's a bad ball from Gazamfar. As Saurabh joins us. Saurabh, what is your best story of trying to pick up and setting yourself on fire?
Yeah.
So that's why I joined, because I was worried you guys would switch to the cricket and I wanted to stick to the dating fail stories.
Saurabh's here for the main stuff, not this nonsense.
Yeah. No, but is Coke better or Diet Coke better, Rob?
So if you have
Coke is the worst.
Diet Coke is
so bad.
appallingly bad for you. But if I sat here and drank full fat Coke like I'm drinking these at the moment, I would be like 200 kgs by the end of the IPL, no danger, because it's like got spoons and spoons of sugar in it.
Is it 8 spoons of sugar or something in Coke?
It's really,
just the
really
sugar
hard.
after a while,
No
right?
danger.
But you'd still take the catch that Yuzi Chahal.
Oh, he's out. He's going out to Cooper Connolly's gone for a drive here on the up, and he's just got a little feather through to the keeper, and he is gone. 17 off 11 or 17 off... Yeah, 17 off 11 there.
Good catch. The Kock has stayed down with that and not got carried away that Connolly's tried to hit it straight for 6.
Is that a dating story? Did Kock have stayed down?
Got a few of those.
Oh my word. Meanwhile, we earlier had a comment that said that De Kock's inning has probably been a match-losing one, and that's why Mumbai are in a losing position. And
I
was
mean,
like,
it's a match-losing one where everyone else was worse, right?
yeah.
If Mumbai win this game, it is not that guy's fault.
Yeah. And yet, I also agree with that person, if that makes sense. Like, I get the idea. No. But what I mean is, because he got tired, like, they didn't maximize at a certain point. I'm not sure they would have anyway, because the other guys couldn't hit the ball off the square when they came in.
If everyone else scores at his strike rate, they get 224. He did absolutely
I
fine.
also agree with that.
Have you
By-
have you guys ranted about Rutherford coming down so low?
Oh, there, yeah,
Rob did, yeah.
that's
Yeah,
my least favourite tactical thing today. Although we just saw Bumrah drop a catch standing in a place where he shouldn't be standing.
I saw that. Yeah.
Gazampa's 2 for 7 off these 9 balls. I think if you bowled these 9 balls a billion times, he'd be 2 for 7 about once.
By the way, we also have a super chat from Mick Lebowski that's addressed to me, so I'll shamelessly take that up. What are my allegiances is what he asks me. Wearing different jerseys every team, every stream. Do you even own every team's jersey? I have each of the 10 teams' jerseys lying right outside the frame. So don't worry, I've got everything ready. It's all about me just coming for those respective games. And allegiances, now, I don't sport an allegiance anymore, but I still have a soft corner for RCB because I was a hardcore RCB fan. And I have one of those, so I'll be wearing them. Maybe next time.
Wow.
I've got Mumbai here, and I've got
Gujarat I
Gujarat
think
as
that
well.
is. Yeah.
The thing is, but I don't know about you actually, but by the time I get out here and start, I'm like, do I really have to change my t-shirt? Like, just feels like,
Like Robbie saw this firsthand during the other scene. There's something very primal and very interesting about dissing a team while wearing their jersey. Like dissing on Punjab while wearing their jersey. This is something because it really messes with the viewers. Wait, does this guy support the team? That's why he's being so harsh? Or is this guy actually taking the piss out of my favorite team? They don't know how to handle it. So it's great fun to see them. So yeah.
so that is something. So we used to have a show called Two Pricks at the Ashes.
Oh
I
yes,
used
I
to watch
remember
that. I used to watch that.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Did you actually watch the original?
Swear
Rob?
to God I did, yeah.
Fuck it up. And then we changed that to the two Chucks because we knew we were going to be selling it to Cricinfo. So it became the Chuck Fleetwood Smiths, which became the two Chucks. And I would wear a cricket shirt on every single thing. And it made it so much funnier that people would get so upset that I owned their team shirt while I was like, this team's shit.
There you go. Great minds think alike, Jared. So that's good to know.
Is that what Akshay has been doing? You've been dissing the team that whose jersey you wear.
I mean, not always, but that's the plan. Like, if Punjab does badly, I can diss on them. So far, they've been doing well, so I've not got a chance as such, but yeah, I'm hoping. The idea is to root against them and then hope that I can actually bring that up. It happened during the CSK stream, so that was great fun. Which is why a lot of people were calling me out. How can this guy hate watch CSK while wearing the jersey? And it was great fun. It was great fun. Robbie, for one, was like, just remove the jersey, goddammit. You can't do this in front of me. Anyways.
Bumrah's back
Have
for
we-
the 6th. Going
We
for the
should
throat
get
here,
Robbie to
Bumrah.
wear the team jerseys he's been part of and wear the Pune Warriors India jersey the day that none of his teams are playing.
Lovely. I'll actually one of these days ask him to wear that black jersey. I love that Pune Warriors black jersey. Buggers, they got rid of it after one season.
They got rid of the team after 2 seasons, so it's not.
That's fair.
Much
That's
you
fair.
can do.
Fair. I think jerseys, they have a million
Uh-oh.
things to worry about. And jerseys
Uh-oh.
will be
Watch this fielding. It's disgusting.
Okay, Akshay and I will watch it in
Yeah.
after you watch the next ball.
That is a routine single.
Mm.
And Gazamfa has decided that he would rather it went for 4. He half stops it, lets it go directly through his body, and then makes sure that the only thing that can happen after it is that it definitely goes for 4.
My word. Oh my word.
I think the dive after he's let the ball go through him is the worst bit of that ball.
Jared's so disgusted by that he's left.
Oh my goodness. Like, The ball wasn't even coming fast. It was just a regular. Oh my
I
god, that's
I
sad.
actually don't know how he's missed that. Like,
Yeah.
how do you?
I mean, what's the worst bit about that? I mean, it's like 99% a single when that ball is
Yeah.
traveling towards him. It's not like it's bounced or spun
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
was it
yeah.
Shashank that got hit in the head with one that came to him along the floor earlier? I still don't know how that popped up. Like a mole came out of the ground or something, and he just sparked it straight into his head. But that was so easy to field, and then the dive afterwards meant that he was always going to escort the ball for four as Bumrah goes for one round for Imran's head. How have they got 57 off this power play? It's so strange. I guess the first over feels
Yeah,
like a lifetime
Yeah,
ago.
got-
exactly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Vidwan Insan has
What?
sent us $7 to ask, is IPL a batters contest? Bro, you could have just asked us without the money and we would have answered it just the same way. But yeah, bowlers do affect it, but
No,
in
we
different ways,
wouldn't.
like giving.
Akshay, hold on.
Yeah?
Send us super chats. Send us money. That's how we answer
Oh.
chats.
No,
Yeah.
Of course.
Carry
of course. No, that goes without saying. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Bowlers do affect it, but in different ways. Like giving 8 runs per over is good as opposed to 12 runs per over. A good bowler is still good, but am I wrong? What do you guys think? Is it a batters contest?
Yeah, of course it is. T20 is a batters contest, but a good bowler is still good is true every time, right? Like Josh Hazelwood showed yesterday. The Bumrah has been showing every match, even though he's not been taking wickets, right? Like right now, he's bowled 10 balls and gone for 10 runs, at least on Akshay and my streams. I don't know how much is gone for on yours, Rob.
Yeah, he's just taken a hat trick on mine, and that includes going into his next over. Yeah, put it this way though, right? When you say it's a batsman's game, and it is T20, you know, unequivocally, if you gave every franchise and you all got together and they said you're allowed to pick one player to start your new team, every single person that put an envelope forward, the envelope would say Jasprit Bumrah, wouldn't it? Every single one. It'd be like, he's the guy we want first. That might just be that he is so far ahead of all the other bowlers that you kind of have to. But having a bowler of his quality makes your team loads and loads better. And one of the reasons why Mumbai are always, you know, whenever I look at the market, Mumbai are always much shorter than I think they should be. You can't argue that they have the best player, right? They do have Bumrah in their team, which makes them, you know, you're never out of it if you've got an opportunity to throw the ball to him 4 times. Did that fielding make you feel? Have you just gone off to be violently sick because of that fielding from Gazanford, Jared?
That's exactly no, because unlike you, I expect bad fielding.
The thing that happens all the time shocks me every time.
I just wanted to see if I could actually cook a meal while doing a live. The answer is maybe.
A meal?
A meal in 2 minutes. In India, that the Maggie is the only thing that you can.
No. I've got something in the oven. I just wanted to make sure it was going in the right direction. Yeah.
But Rob, just to come back to your point, doesn't it sort of prove that it's a batter's game because Bumrah is such an exception. That's why he's on everybody's list first, right? Like if there was a surfeit of bowlers who could do sort of or even approaching his level, then he might not have been as standout, as much in demand. It's because nobody else can do what he does.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas, like if you pick an Abhishek or you have a Priyansh, you have a Vaibhav, you have a Jaiswal, you have you have a Virat Kohli doing similar stuff. You have people who.
Yeah, you always in those sorts of situations, the rarity is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
That's why
exactly.
you can make a claim that Glenn McGrath is a better bowler than Shane Warne, but Shane Warne was harder to find and therefore more important to Australia.
Yeah.
How many people make that claim though?
I see that.
Most people would say in Australia that Warne is the better bowler than McGrath.
I would say that though.
Yeah, but it's not true. McGrath is potentially the greatest bowler of all time. I don't really understand why this is an argument, and I didn't even.
But he bowled the same ball every time, and Shane Warne bowled a different ball every time, and that's what I want in my life.
I don't know if Shane Warne did bowl a different ball all the time, actually.
Yeah, but he told you that he did.
Yeah, that's the big difference. Is McGrath had no names for his deliveries.
He not just told you that, he made you think also that there is a different ball coming every time.
There is a great song called "The Parables of Glenn McGrath's Haircut," which is by a band called Tism. Don't play it in front of your kids, everyone. But
why have I not heard this song?
Oh, I can't believe you haven't heard that song. But that
I haven't
song
heard it either.
it's great, and it's all about how eventually the nerds take over the world, and it's a story about how the cool kid ends up watching Glenn McGrath take wickets. Right? It's such a good story, and it is the best. It is the best story about Glenn McGrath, because let's be honest, for about 9 years, it did look like his mum was still cutting his hair.
Yeah.
and stitching his pants, right? They used to never like come full all the way down.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And then suddenly, late in his life, when he had his when his wife, got him, he had the tips in his hair. Do you remember briefly? And he started to have some actual style. I had dinner with him during the last Ashes in the UK.
Nice.
And what I really found, I'd never really spent time with him before, but what I really found interesting is he's one of those people that was genuinely shocked by all conversations.
He'd enjoy this one. It's flown around quite a lot.
I mean, to be fair, Rob, it was me, Damien Fleming, Daniel Norcross, and maybe Zoltzman. So it probably did go in a few directions that he was not ready for.
So you need to start calling me when these amazing fantasy deals happen.
You don't like those guys, do you?
I could be there in an hour and a half, wherever
What
it
was
is.
What was the one that you missed? It was the guy from Alan Partridge, but not the famous guy, the second guy.
Tim Key, yeah. It was Tim Key and Zoltzman. And didn't you say that they both play in the same five-a-side team or something? Get me in that team.
It was Tim Key, Damien Fleming, Daniel Norcross, Zoltzman, me.
Dream. Absolute dream.
That was a fun one. That was when because Tim Key had never heard of the Julios and oh my God, what's the other one? Julios and
the nerds.
Julios and nerds.
Julios and the nerds, yeah.
Actually, do you know what Julios and nerds means in cricket? He's on mute anyway, so we can't hear him. But
yeah.
So Julios and nerds was a thing in 90s cricket in Australia where you were either like trying to be cool and pretty, where you were either trying to look smacks, right? Or you were happy being an incel. Right, these are the for modern
that's
language.
That's more like my language.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Yes, that's what is.
That's what I was doing. This is for the kids. Yeah. And so, if you put on too much cologne, you're a Julio. If you put on like a party shirt, you're a Julio, right? If you put gel in your hair, you're a Julio. Like very basic things, but
Yeah.
And so I was explaining this to Tim Key, who looked at me like I was inventing something. And then I suddenly realized Damien Fleming's next to me, and I was like, Flem, explain the full concept. And then the two of them spent 2 hours talking about this. It was so awesome.
I read even their physio, who was a physio for a long time, Errol Alcott, right? That was his name.
Yeah. What was his nickname? What was his nickname?
I don't know what his nickname was, but he was the prime Julio apparently. More than the players. At one point, someone got injured and he ran out onto the field to assist him, assist the player like all physios do. He ran past the guy because he was admiring his shadow and flexing his bicep. That's the level of Julio that he was. This is in Glenn McGrath's book.
His nickname was Hooter. Because he came from rugby.
Oh, yes,
he never worked in cricket before. And the first day of a test match, and he's sitting with all the Australian players around him, and he goes, when does the hooter go off? And he was called Hooter. Even to this day, he's still called Hooter. Have you guys ever seen The Wire? There's the first episode of The Wire is the guy trying to understand, like, he's like, wait, why do you call him Snot Boogie? And he's like, oh, when he was a kid, he had a snotty nose or something. He's like, what, that's it? And we just call him Snot Boogie for the rest of his life? I'm probably the only person who watched that going, Hooter! It's like Hooter!
Uh-oh. Oh, that's close.
Safe.
So we've had a Shardle over that has been quite nonsensical, but not as nonsensical as his overs normally are. He's only bowled
Did you
three
see
wide?
that first ball?
Yeah.
The first ball was a bouncer that was uppercut, which I don't know how they had a field. They had like a long stop almost. I don't know.
So he went slower ball and then he played the uppercut ramp. So he nearly hit it to that long stop that was there. Since then, we've had a 2, a wide, a 1, a wide, and then that one that was like a chip in the air from Shreyas that didn't quite get long off. So something's going to happen in the next 2 balls, balls number 7 and 8 of this over because Shardul's bowling. Like something's going to happen.
He's bowling really good knuckleballs though at the moment.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's holding it like a knuckleball and he's bowling a knuckleball.
Yeah. That was the second or third one, if I'm right. He's been bowling them
pretty much all over, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell you how I know when wisdom comes out?
You get invited to the fancy dinner.
It's when I start getting messages like this. I don't even know what the message means, but if someone's abusing Lawrence Booth, that means he's written a new editorial for Wisdom. If it makes you feel better, I don't write for Wisdom. I don't know if there's... Rob, do you write for Wisdom? Akshay, do you write for Wisdom? No. Saurabh, do you work for Lawrence Booth?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm the stooge here.
To be fair, I did go to Lawrence's wedding, but I don't write for Wisdom. I don't think I write for Wisdom. Maybe I do write for Wisdom.
I mean, you have written for them in the past, even if you have not written for this particular issue. So.
I'll tell you a really interesting story about that. When I moved over to the UK, and that was one of the first sort of recurring jobs I got, because podcasts and blogs started. So they asked me to write about blogs and podcasts, and I did it for like 2 years, right? And then I was like, this is shit. I don't want to write about this. I don't care, right? And I pulled out of it, and almost every English cricket writer came up to me and go, what are you doing? Like, writing for Wisdom's the best thing ever. And I went, really? Like 1 column a year, and I get a free book and occasionally get invited to a dinner? And it was like, it was a real eye-opener to me of like how important they still thought it was. And I was like, I don't care. I'm really sad that I'm not going to be writing in the book anymore that has the public school cricket records in it. And that's posh school for those of you who don't know England. But yeah, no, I still do. I have done stuff occasionally if Lawrence sends me.
Oh my word! I thought he threw that over the boundary rope. Sorry, I'm getting carried away with this crazy fielding.
That was perfectly normal fielding. It's just you
Yeah,
now.
right.
Maybe you're the issue.
There was a really good catch earlier though, the Shreyas Iyer relay one. That was good.
Oh, how good was that? Yeah,
really, really good.
Yeah. Did you count that as a drop though by Shreyas?
No.
We did make that joke on air, by the way.
It's an assist, is what it is. That's an assist. But there was one the other day. Who was it which fielder went?
Adil Samad, then Aiden Markram.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a shot this is! He's
Bloody
just
hell.
launched Shahar over cover about 40 meters back.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
nice.
That was yesterday. The Samad
Yeah.
and that.
So Markram didn't. So all of the Shreyas Iyer brilliance would have been completely in vain if Markram would have gone with him, because Markram was just running around. Whereas Bartlett tracked him and was like, "I'm here, mate. Just chuck it to me."
I don't think that was entirely Markram's fault. That was not a good underarm throw.
It wasn't a good throw.
I mean,
Markram
Markram did not seem to expect it to come to him, so I'm not absolving him. He's like 70% of the problem, but it was also a terrible throw.
But Iyer did so well because he had to flick the throw, didn't he, while he was on the way down? The gravity was taking him well away from the action, and he flicked it back. It was very, very good. Reminded me of the Ben Lachlan one in the Big Bash. That was one of my all-time favourites. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Is that when he threw it like 40 meters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Yeah. I think it cost me loads of money at the time, but he had to flick that miles, didn't he?
It was so weird to see it live, because you were watching it going, wow, this is probably, he's going to have to throw this over his head and come back. And then suddenly we're watching the ball go in a different direction. And no one's looking in that direction to see if there's someone there. So everyone in the ground is moving their head in real time to be like, what is happening?
I feel a similar one in IPL has to be a catch between Watson and David Visa. This was for RCB in 2016. I don't know if you guys remember. Near the boundary rope, it was a diving effort from both fielders. It was damn cool. At least back then, I was in the stadium for that, and I was blown by that catch. I want to say it was Quinton.
Were you wearing the opposition jersey in the stadium?
No. I was a hardcore loyal RCB fan.
Actually, Rob will have to help me here. In football, what are those? Are they called half and half shirts?
They do half and half scarves. Sorry, I just watched that catch.
Yeah, half and half scarves where you can have it. We have like both teams on the scarf, which I've never actually understood why anyone in the world would want it. But I'm just saying, you could get all of your shirts and cut them in half and sew them up for each episode.
Oh, that's a lot of effort. No, I thought you get them ready-made. I would have considered if that were the case. I'm too lazy.
I watched that catch, right? And
Yeah.
Watson does brilliantly well because Watson is not running sideways, catching it and throwing it back. He is running. The ball comes over his head, so Watson catches it as he's running towards the boundary rope, and then he has to throw it like back over his own shoulder, and then Weiser comes in from nowhere and dives and catches it. It's a good one.
Yeah. Damn cool. Oh, that actually happened on the 17th of April. That's tomorrow. That's random detail. Sorry.
I was saying Deepak Chahar is having a bit of a shocker. He's gone for what 34 runs in 2 overs, 35 runs.
I don't know how offensive would this be, but surprise, average bowler gets hit by decent batters.
I think he was really good at his best.
He was very good at his
now.
best.
He is a bit beyond his best, to be fair.
I think he might be gone.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
It's anytime I see a 2 overs 30 odd runs, it's there's only one memory for Indian fans of my vintage. That's Manoj Prabhakar in the 1996 World Cup. That was his career-ending match. Jayasurya went after him. Yeah, he had figures of 2-0, 33-0 at the start of the match, and in 96, if you're given 33 runs in 2 overs, that was like insane. He ended up bowling off spin. He bowled only 4 overs in the match, and he ended up bowling off spin. That was the earliest version of matchup because they needed an off spinner to Jayasurya was a left-hander, and they had not picked one in the 11, even though they had one on the bench. So Prabhakar bowled off spin, and he ended up with 4 overs, 48 runs. And while batting, he had faced 36 balls and made 7 runs while opening. So I don't think there has been a worse 10-over contribution in a match than that.
Ian Botham has a 5-wicket haul in Test cricket as a spinner.
As a spinner?
Yeah,
No.
against Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Wow. Why was he bowling spin?
I think, again, the wicket just wasn't doing anything. I don't even think it was in Sri Lanka. I think it was in England. But the wicket just got flat and he started bowling spin. I think he bowled off spin. I'm pretty sure.
Was Sri Lanka a test-playing nation by that time? I thought they
83.
started much later.
Yeah, they became one in 83.
Okay.
So Botham would have definitely...
The full story of that is, I'm pretty sure this is correct. And I'm sorry to Fidel Fernando if I'm incorrect remembering this, but he went up to Botham to talk to him about that. And Botham went, I don't remember. And he went, really? Because you bowled off spin in that game and you took wickets? And he went, mate, do you know how many games I played in? And just sort of walked off. Fidel's like, okay.
That's the one you would remember, though, right? If you're in.
I think that's how Fidel thought about it, right?
That's how anyone would have thought about it. Yeah,
but if you want to talk to Michael Vaughan, you only need to talk about one thing. You just talk about the ball to Sachin. He doesn't care about any of the batting he did, but he remembers that ball, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I reckon I could get Vaughan to talk about all the times he got bowled at the end of his career.
I think Vaughan also got Wasim Jaffer, if I'm not wrong. He tweeted about it once. Yeah. When they were bantering each other on X, Vaughan spoke out, don't forget the time I actually got you out in a test. So.
Andy says, rank Matre, Arya, Rizvi, Anchorish. Oh, this is a good one because I'm not sure I have a strong order on this.
I have an order on this.
Okay,
I have a number 1 on this. Yeah.
Arya is my number 1. Matre is 2.
I don't know about Matre. Matre is still swinging across the line for me.
Yes, he is, but because he's only 19, so I'm like, yeah, he has a lot of upside to come.
He does, but I'm not sure he's going to fix his technique on the upside.
For me, it's actually, I mean. And what about Rizvi? What about Rizvi and Ankush? How are they placed?
Yeah, that's more difficult.
I think it's confusing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I have Arya 1.
I have Arya 1.
About all I know in that list, I think.
I have Ankush as 1.
I might have Ankush as 2.
Yeah, I have Ankush as a clear 1 for me. Yeah.
I think it goes Arya, Raghavanshi, just about Matre, Rizvi, but it could go Rizvi, Matre. I'm happy.
Yeah, Matre, Rizvi, 3-4 died for me. I feel both of them will have to work a lot on themselves.
Why do you have Raghuvanshi 1, Akshay?
In terms of technique, he's the one who's sort of got it clearly pat down. He's comfortable against both pace and spin against most lengths. There are very few discernible weaknesses that oppositions can use to exploit. So that's why he's got that sorted. And I feel at that age, I still probably am a bit old school to think that, having something like that sorted so young, it sort of keeps you in good stead. With Arya, I still have a lot of reservations.
We are talking about T20s only, right? This is a ranking for T20. If it's not for T20s, then I would have Ankush maybe even ahead of Arya. But
I'm still sticking to Raghuvanshi for T20s as well because, like I said, I really like the way he's gone about his business. In a better team, if he was paired properly with decent partners,
yeah. So this
is much better.
Sorry, actually, to interrupt there, but that is a really, really important four. And on such things, games can turn.
Right. Oh, I'm not sure he dropped it. It was close.
Thanks for the heads up.
10 balls in a row. 10 balls in a row then were either singles or dots.
Yeah.
And it was just getting a bit sticky for Punjab. So I think Prab Simran premeditated that one. He's like, right, I'm scoring a boundary this ball. And he's gone back-to-back fours there. And this is how games turn, guys, right? If Rutherford catches that, would have been a good catch. It was a difficult chance. If he catches that, Mumbai go ahead now they're miles
I don't
behind.
think...
I like how Rob says that would have been a good catch.
Yeah, I don't think that was a catch in the first place.
What's your back?
Fantastic catch.
No. Had he caught that, I would have. Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
No, catching's not that hard, right? Catching's easy.
Ray Jake says, just bet my entire family fortune on Bumrah wickets. Thank you, Bumrah, in advance. Hopefully, it was on the game situation. The best Bumrah bet, of course, is always trying to work out which over he's going to bowl and then going unders. That is the best Bumrah bet of being like, well, okay, so if they're going to bowl this, they're going to bowl in for this over, the fourth over. So I'm going to go unders on the fourth over and then hope you're right.
Nothing beats Tim David bowling the seventh over when Rajasthan were 100 for no loss in the power play and the run line being 8 runs or 8.5, whatever it was for that over.
Praveen Kumar says, where are the next generation West Indies fast bowling all-rounders? Well, I've only had 3 above average ones in about 50 years, depending on how you feel about Eldon Baptiste or Bernard Julian. So,
but they've had plenty of average ones.
Have they?
Yeah, I would more say they've got quite a few pace bowling all-rounders in general. Right now, so you see someone like Odean Smith, there's Matthew Ford, there are names.
Well, Odean Smith is not an all-rounder. We need to change the definitions of all-rounder if we're calling Odean Smith an all-rounder.
Is Romario an all-rounder?
Who? Romario
Shep. Yeah.
No.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't have him.
Telling me Kyle Mayers is not an all-rounder because I want to have words. If you are.
No,
I think Kyle Mayers is a bowler.
Oh wow, okay.
He got one of the best innings I've seen in a Test match. Kyle Mayers.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bangladesh one, right?
And he's bowled better in international cricket since then than he's batted.
He's very good at bowling over number one in T20, and that's it. He's like the modern version of the off spinner. The Michael Beer over. They just upgraded the pace of it.
So let me
He's
tell
the
you
definition of a hyper specialist.
History of West Indies all-rounders. Leary, Garfield, Baptiste, maybe? Right? Bravo and Russell. There aren't many.
Matthew Ford, Jared.
What
I was...
Jason Holder, where does he... I mean, Jason Holder is not exactly bad all-rounder.
Yeah, no, I would actually... yeah, that's fair. I'd probably have him in there as well.
Yeah, you can put him there, yeah.
Like I said, not a lot of above average all-rounders, but I would still include all of these folks as all-rounders. Like, to me, even Dominic Drakes is an all-rounder for what it's worth. Like, I know you might not agree with it from a...
So you would pick him for batting or bowling?
No.
No, okay.
Like I said...
Neither.
So, Akshay, you've very snowballed this.
No, my definition of an all-rounder is clearly very different for me. It is someone who...
I mean, the technical definition is someone who can get in the side with bat or ball.
By that logic, I don't think... Yeah.
Like, all of the people we just named are neither. They shouldn't be in the side for either discipline. Apart from Kyle Mayers, who should be in for all three.
Bowling.
More.
Another boundary as well. Here.
I don't think that India has produced an all-rounder since forever. Like, I can think of only Kapil Dev and probably Jadeja. Like Ravi
Why didn't the
Jadeja.
field that?
It's almost like there aren't many all-rounders, Akshay. That's my point. So when
Watch
someone says...
here. Watch Gazantha. Watch what he does.
Okay. I love the fact that we get heads up. That's the best part about watching.
Yes.
Watch Gazantha.
Oh,
Oh my God.
He starts to field that ball after it's 10 yards past him, and it goes right next to him. That is
This
hard
is
away.
like
And he's like,
Gazanfar is like, I'm -20 on bowling, so I'll just take it easy in the field.
no, this is like on PlayStation when you're controlling the fielder, you forgot
Yeah.
to press the button.
exactly that.
He's just standing there. What are you doing? What was that?
And he went like this afterwards. As if, like, what, I'm meant to stop it when it comes anywhere near me? I mean, is that an upgrade from misfielding it?
What
and
would have
boundary?
made that moment perfect? What would have made that moment perfect is if he imitated his compatriot and clutched his thigh and fell down as if he has like a cramp, like Gulbuddin Naib.
So Gazanfar
my
is
word.
actually Majid, isn't he? He's the sack of potatoes in the field would be much better than him.
You can see Shardul's expression. Like, Shardul's like,
Maybe we should
In
start
this-
calling it the Maris Piper Award.
But their fielding in the last 10 minutes, Mumbai, has meant that instead of being favourites for this game, which they would have been if they'd have got rid of him, or if they'd have stopped any of these boundaries, they're now really under it because he
Yeah.
started belting the
basically
ball
gone now, isn't
after
it?
the midfield or the ball after the drop catch. He's pumped to the boundary 3 times in a row now. Now he's got his 50 off 23. Very good. And this was
oh, shot.
what I thought was his weakness, Prav Simran, was
Yeah.
the bit after the power play. Sometimes he gets a bit stuck and then he gets angry and he just slogs out, which may have been the Rutherford chance. Was like he got a bit angry when they were just going ... single, and he played the ball in the air. But now that they've mucked up the fielding and he's got a couple of boundaries away, he looks great again, doesn't he? It's all coming off the middle now.
But I'm sorry, Rob. Like the fact that you're still
He's built
sticking
harder.
to that being a chance for Rutherford. That wasn't a chance.
It was a good
That
chance.
was
The ball went next to him in the air. That's
No,
what chance is.
it was in the same general direction of Rutherford. There was nothing
Went
close
next to
on
him
it.
in the air.
We have a super chat that we need to discuss though. Siddharth Shrikant says Tushar Deshpande is the best bowler of all time.
Correct.
I don't think anyone disagrees. Do we?
Yeah.
Oh my
Shreyas
God,
goes
what is this
way
shot?
down.
Is
He
this a
has to
back
be
foot
the-
cover drive
Yeah.
for 6? It can't be.
Very nice, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
it
this
is.
is
That is off the
fantastic.
back foot. Watch this, everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Who is hitting that? Shreyas?
Yeah,
Yep.
this is an it's Hardik Pandya's bowling. He's
No,
going into
Shardul's
the wicket. Hey?
Shardul's bowling.
Oh, it is Shardul. Sorry, you're right.
Oh, played.
Right.
Oh, not an easy shot at all. Well done.
Yeah.
He's done his trigger movement and then rocked onto the back
Yeah.
foot and slapped it over extra. That's lovely, isn't it?
Well
Yeah,
done,
he's-
man. Well done.
Slap.
You need incredible power, like to be able to do that off the back foot, like when you're rocking back and then still sort of send it past cover. Wow, man, like I can't imagine. Ooh. Some shot that. Tushar Deshpande is definitely the best bowler of all time. I don't think we've had anyone else have the purple cap while going at 16 runs per over. So, I mean, that's
him, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to the great man Josh Davey. Do you remember Josh Davey in
do.
the 2015 World Cup, who was leading in wickets and wides?
That's strong.
Oh,
Arshdeep's going for that. He's already got the wide zone up. He just needs to get 3 for every game now.
Also, that was in the days when people weren't trying to bowl wides.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Well, except for the match fixers.
We're going to ban this this wide line bowling at the end of innings. It's really boring. So they need
Yeah, we should-
less than 9 and over with 2 set and 8 in hand. Pretty short price to get this done, aren't they?
Also, why do IPL teams not value good bowling units in the auction and have as much as batters? All right. So Praveen asks, where are the next gen West Indies fast bowling all rounders? And why do IPL teams not value good bowling units as much as batters at the auction?
We answered the all rounders one before.
Yeah.
But the one of the reasons the batters go for more money than bowlers is because people don't understand cricket. But the other one is more obvious, which is that bowlers are defensive players in cricket and batters are offensive players. And if you look at the history of all sports, check the prices, and it is very, very consistent across off the board of that having had happened. I'll get my words out in a minute, as this is over the top sweep and 4 runs.
And one thing to this, I mean, I don't know how much sense does this make. I'm trying to remember who said this. It was one of the owners. Their logic was batters can have an impact over each of the 120 deliveries in a game. Bowlers can't. For bowlers, it's limited to the 24 deliveries that they will be bowling.
Yes, but here's my argument against that. There are very few batters who actually face average more than 24 deliveries a game. Right?
That's true.
So
Fair.
Happened here.
Oh, is he just throwing that sideways? That's twice in this game we've had a bowler come in and just dribble the ball out. That's due, my friends.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's
completely
mega due.
That makes the rest of this over be in for a lot of runs because how the hell does he hold the ball now?
God, that went backwards.
It's due and heat, isn't it? Like he looks very, very good here. Here he comes again.
That never really came out.
And just the one.
There
I think Shreyas is going to tee off here.
Good super chat here from Sidaf's going, Gazamfar is filling in the role for Charles Fielding. Now, he's even doing it when bowling.
Just replace Majib is what he's done in every way.
Yeah, and actually your sack of potatoes argument would literally hold because that 4 that he let through, if there was a sack of potatoes there, the ball would have stopped. It would have gone for 4.
I mean, the sack of potatoes hasn't got a great arm, but it's got about as good an arm as Majib has. Best arms in world cricket these days?
It's hard to tell because no one ever uses them anymore.
There's a lot of slinging it now, isn't there? That one, the sidearm.
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Actually, I have seen a chat that, not a super chat, but someone, I can't find it now, but someone was asking Rob, who do you rate as the best fielder in world cricket right now?
Rakeem Cornwall.
I think I'll tell you somebody who has all the attributes to become the best fielder in the world, and that's Bethel. Bethel has all
that was the name I was thinking. Yeah.
He's super quick. He's very good at catching, and he can field in multiple positions, and he has an arm, right? So he has the ability, but he hasn't shown the concentration levels in the field from the T20s I've watched him play. He doesn't look like he's at it. Ponting was the best, like, for all the cricket that I watched. I mean, you can go back and talk about Trevor Penny and John T. Rhodes and all that, but Ponting was consistently unbelievably good for ages. Andrew Simons was an absolute mega gun at everything. If you want to include people's arms in that, Simons had all of it, and he could actually tackle streakers while he was fielding the ball, which is what he used to do.
No, that he did while batting though.
Was that batting? I think he's done it.
I think he did it fielding as well, mate.
Yeah,
I think he did one of each.
He's done it twice. Okay.
Yeah, fielding.
Unless I'm misremembering, I think he did it on 2 different.
No, he's definitely done it both.
Yeah. I remember the batting one because I was against India, and you can see Raina and Srisan just have a chuckle like, "Oh, what did we just see?" Like the man just gives him a proper.
And that was in that infamous Monkey Gate series, right? So I think he took out a lot of his frustration with that shoulder charge to the speaker.
A lot of people say it's Glenn Phillips, but Glenn Phillips drops too many catches because he's too excited. He's so excited all the time. Excuse me. He's so excited all the time. Bumrah's back. That's the Bumrah's back button. Back to Shreyas, who just palms him away for a single and says, Prabhsimran, you can face this guy. Thank you very much. Maxwell's been very, very good in T20s down the years. Like
before
really
he broke
good.
his leg.
And that's a great story, how he broke his leg. But but he's one that can field in pretty much any position and be good at it. Like he's really, really good at the boundary rope fielding. And he's good close, and he's got a good arm for the run out as well.
Faf du Plessis?
His hands, no ball here from Bumrah. His hands, Faf du Plessis, at one point, I think he was the best catcher in the world.
I think he's one of the best slip fielders I've ever seen, and he was an incredible outfielder as well.
His hands are incredible, Faf. Obviously, he's an old man now, but...
have you ever heard the story when Faf first came over to the UK, played club cricket, and they were one player short, and he said to his team, I've got a friend who can come over and field for us if you want. And so he did. And so a point was Faf, and a cover was AB de Villiers in a club game.
That's not fair, is it?
Hey, you're not dropping it looking for one there, are you?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Who is the better fielder between those two? Actually, that's an interesting.
I would
Fact.
say AB because
Oh.
AB has done things that I think have defied the laws of physics on the boundary, and I'm like, I don't know how he caught that. Whereas Faf was extremely dependable at doing all the things that he should do, which is a really, really underrated skill in fielding. Like you watch these guys as someone else falls over the ball and watches it go for four. You watch these guys and no one can do the things they're meant to do every time. But Faf always did, I think. Low full toss from Bumrah goes straight through a fielder who can't be bothered to lie on the floor and stop it. But AB did stuff. I can't help but think of that IPL one where he's on the rope and you're like, how the hell has he not gone over the rope with this ball here? And he somehow has the core strength and the skill and the athleticism to stay within the boundary and catch it all while being in midair. It's like impossible. I don't think Faf catches that one. But it's close. Like I had Faf as the best in the world for a bit, probably 10 years ago. Bumrah sticking with the full toss there. If Bumrah goes another game without getting a wicket, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Neither does Ray Jake because he put all of his money on it before, didn't he?
Oh yeah, it's all his family fortunes. Is that the board game or the TV show or his actual family fortune?
Yeah. But it's a bit interesting you said AB over Faf for that because I've actually seen AB drop. I won't say a lot of catches, but he's dropped.
Yeah,
a few
his hands
catches
weren't as good as Faf's.
Yeah.
So
Faf
here's
has
my
never
big one.
dropped.
Martin Guptill is thought of as a great fielder.
Good shout. He
Right?
took the best catch of that World Cup where Stokes got all the glory.
Yeah, but
When he got Smith up.
didn't have great hands. Martin Guptill. If
Good
you go
arm
back,
though.
Great arm, great athlete, but he actually dropped a lot of the balls he would get to. This is a huge hit off Bumrah, by the way, and that is game over if it wasn't already. As Shreyas puts him into the crowd with a pull shot. So yeah, I think that's underlooked. So if you look at someone like Mark Waugh, who was a good athlete, but not an athlete on the level of these Jonty Road type of people that we're talking about now, Mark Waugh never fumbles. Right?
Yeah.
He's always
Never.
got his head still. The ball's in his hands, and he flicks, and he's always got enough balance to throw the ball at the stumps. Whereas Jonty Rhodes would get to balls that Mark Waugh never would. But Jonty Rhodes very rarely took the ball cleanly, and even when he did, he wasn't a particularly good throw. Right. So if that's where I think Faf is more like that sort of Mark Waugh guy, where he's good at everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than other people do.
It's really hard. Really hard to be good at everything in the field.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you guys have seen him field, but low-key Manish Pandey is outstanding.
Him and they had him and Roy together the other day, and both of them are very good. But Pandey was one of those guys at like long on or long off. He's awesome in that region.
He was awesome inside the circle, outside, at slip, wherever. I've seen him field plenty all over. I mean, now he's
very good.
old.
Direct hits, runouts. I mean, Saurabh, you might remember the Karnataka Bengal semi-final.
Oh, yes.
Arshdeep. Epic run out. I still think of it.
Not just that. The Karnataka Mumbai final also.
Oh, of course.
That where he scored a century also, and then he caught that insane catch. In fact, Manish Pandey, actually, when I watch him move on the field, he gives me the closest feeling to like a Mark Waugh. That's fluidity and the smoothness that is there. It is very Mark Waugh-ish.
And for what it's worth, Phil Salt, I mean, I was at the stadium for the LSG and the CSK games that happened at the Chinnaswamy.
Oh,
Phil Salt
I was there
moves,
yesterday.
man.
He's very quick.
Yeah.
He's very quick, and I was like, it felt like a movie in front of me. Like the way he was moving, very quick, very fast.
Who's the fastest fielder, and why is it Fabian Allen?
Fabian Allen was outstanding. Yeah, he was.
I saw Fabian Allen. Me and Ian Bishop were commentating a game in the West Indies, and Fabian Allen took the catch. And we both looked at each other after we commentated, be like, there's just not another cricketer either of us have ever seen, surely, that could do that. Yeah, we couldn't think of someone who would have got to it.
I mean, the Andre Russell with Needs was incredibly quick.
Early Andre Russell was really. Do you know who was Steve Smith was a great fielder. So much so that the running joke was early in his career that he was picked as a fielder. And when Glenn Maxwell debuted for Victoria, he would bat at 8 and not bowl. And we all used to joke, well, he might still be worth it for his fielding.
And then he was a bowler, and then he became all right at batting, didn't he? Eventually.
Yeah. And now he's a bowler again.
Yeah, what is he now? Did he play PSL? He did, didn't he?
He didn't.
I don't think he did, no.
Yeah.
Prit says, interesting stat on Cricket Info that Prab's strike rate goes from 160 to 190 after Arya is out. Arya faster than last year, so Prab, but at different stages now. How much of that, though, is that when Arya goes out, he's already faced 5 or 10 balls and he's set, and his strike rate would go up naturally anyway? Or how much of it is also role definition of once Arya's out, you're the one who has to hit the boundaries? Because that could be a bit of both.
Yeah, both feeding into each other and like,
Agreed.
Another 4 for Prab, and this game is done.
Actually says, what would Mumbai need to give up to get a player like Harpreet Brar or Sai Sudarshan for their team? They really need a spinner.
Sai
Kishore. I think he means Sai Kishore.
Hey, what if you want Sai Sudarshan to bowl for you? Though?
Yeah.
They should be able to get across, couldn't they? Because GT, don't let him bowl at half the batters in the world.
Neither of these guys are allowed to bowl, so you might as well pick one of them.
So it should be the sort of trade that Mumbai can do. This should be the end of Prab's Imran, I think, or is it gone for 6? Oh my word! I thought that went straight up. It went miles long.
Yeah, 10 runs.
It's also the same. Yeah, it's also the sort of trade Mumbai would do because GT have a history of gifting players to Mumbai, Rutherford, Pandya. So might as well just add another to that tally and give them
Mumbai need to do is offer 100 grand, and every team in the league will give them all their best younger players. So,
Chelsea.
Wow, man, that's some shot from Prab Simran.
I thought that went straight up. It just went miles straight.
Andy says there's a video of the Ambani lady giving the Mumbai India squad a passive-aggressive scolding. I think they made Sky captain mid-season.
If it doesn't turn around.
I don't know if I see a captaincy change mid-season happening.
Same. Yeah.
That's. But if it doesn't turn around, Hardik would have had 3 seasons and with the best team on paper and nothing to show for it. So, yeah,
that's true.
And there's a mega auction coming up after next year. Maybe he keeps it for 1 more year and then mega auction time it changes.
Is that confirmed though that this is a 3-year cycle? Sorry.
Oh, I'm going by what was like. Yeah, I think it should be.
Okay.
I did hear something about certain players thinking about 2027 being their finale because of the mega auction in 28.
Oh.
So I don't know how much that plays a part in it. So.
Interesting. Very interesting that. Juicy. That's very juicy.
This is a deep cut.
If Bumrah no ball brings back the trauma of Champions Trophy 2017.
If you've got trauma in your life, Siddharth, from the Champions Trophy, you've gone too far. Turn around, go back.
That's what I was about to say. Is it trauma? Any more?
I have trauma from the Champions Trophy. 2013 was the one in England, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
When India won a T20 game in the soaking wet.
When Ishant Sharma won a game because MS Dhoni told him where to bowl every delivery.
So I nearly lost my entire net worth at the time on whether that game would be completed or not.
You the noted weatherman that you are.
Yeah, and I never bet on that either. I never bet on that. I'm like, you geeks can have that market. I've got no interest in it at all. But I was at the ground, and earlier in the day, I was sat in like a Ladbrokes, mucking about because it was raining so much. And then there was a bit where I think they had something like 10 minutes to restart, or it was done. It was absolutely, they'd eat every minute out of it that they could do. And the heavens didn't just open. It was like the apocalypse. Game over. There was bloody plagues of locusts. There was sharks swimming across the outfield. It was done, right? Absolutely, definitely done. And it was, I've never seen rain like it in England before. It was just nuts. And I was like, I am having everything I've got on no game here. And it was really short price as well. It was like 1.18 or something. And I just murdered no game for my whole balance. And then the luckiest thing ever happened is that Sky, who were covering the game in England, went to an ad break. And during that ad break, they announced on the tannoy at the ground that the ICC had just had an emergency meeting and decided that they were going to have, as long as they wanted to get this game on because they just made new rules up. and I managed to get out of it for like £1,000 loss or something. So I lost a bit, but I could have lost everything. I was just like, well, they can't possibly play it. But yeah, they in their infinite wisdom made a good decision for once and got a game in, and it was England absolute and complete certainties to win, and then Bapara mucked it up. Was that what happened? That's what happened from memory.
I just remember
dirty slow balls, wasn't it? Short slow balls. Actually,
Bumrah
maybe
getting
not even
whacked
short.
then.
One of them was just full. Maybe the other one was short.
I mean, what's happened to Bumrah?
Bumrah is bowling his final over.
Ever.
He needs to get a wicket. No, for him to get a wicket and save the guy who put all his money.
Petrol Sniffing Doofus says, you said friends and family round is nearly done. Congrats. Are there any friends or acquaintances you'd not take funding from? And if they're willing, and why? I wouldn't take money from Rob Barron. I don't trust him.
Quite right too.
He made most of his money from killing puppies, is what I've heard. So
It's good money in it though. Don't knock it till you tried it, Darren.
Naveen says, is this now a two-way race between RCB and Punjab? Oh, we're out on Rajasthan pretty quickly.
Yeah. Rajasthan's definitely there. So are Delhi. I mean, they're still a good
I don't think
side.
Delhi are that bad. Saurabh thinks they're terrible.
No, I don't think they're terrible.
You said they were the shittest team you've ever seen. That's what I remember.
Again, Jared should get the same bus driver's license that I told Robbie to.
Yeah, if you have...
oh my God, was that a drop?
Yeah, Bumrah should have got a wicket there, but Chahar...
Oh my God, he's gone up and under Prab Sibran to third, and Chahar has just walked around and just dropped a lollipop.
No, he hasn't got to him because he decided rather than running...
Oh, I thought he dropped it. Did he not drop it?
Rather than running in a straight line to the ball to catch it, he's run around in a circle. Aimlessly, and then it's fallen 3 yards.
Oh, you're right. It landed in front of him. He didn't. Why didn't he dive though?
I don't know whether he didn't pick it up. They're all moaning about the lights today, aren't they?
That is true. Stoinis
Like
was
two or
before,
three of
wasn't he?
Yeah. But he's not even looking at the ball when it hits him there, as Shreyas just pumps Bumrah again and goes to
a lot of full tosses.
31. Bumrah's bowling almost exclusively full tosses today. And whilst I wouldn't have been concerned one little bit that he hasn't got any wickets so far in the tournament with the way he bowled in all the other games, he hasn't bowled very well today, Bumrah.
Yeah. Code Noob says Gibbs, Faf, or ABD.
Gibbs.
Okay,
Gibbs
so if I'm looking for stories, I'd go to Gibbs. If I'm looking for best looking person in a towel, I'll go to Faf. If I'm looking for batter, I'll go to ABD. There you go.
He's asking about the fielders though.
Yeah, well, it's obviously Faf. I've already said that.
But I think Bumrah would benefit from maybe a 2-match break.
Yeah, he might need it. He might get. He might get a couple of games off at the end of the season, mate.
Yeah.
Neil says, "Is genetics a big part in fielding, or can it be trained?" Look, genetics is a big part in almost everything. I will say this: when I first watched Imran Tahir play cricket, he was basically Mujib level fielding. He then spent 10 years in the South African system, and by the end, he was a good bad fielder.
Yeah, and see also Adil Rashid. He was rubbish at the start, and he's pretty good now.
And
you can teach anyone to catch. You can teach anyone to catch. Particularly professional athletes, which is what these people are. Their job is sportsmen. That's what their job is. So you can definitely teach these people how to catch, and they're at the absolute top of their craft as well.
Says the man who's a professional bettor who almost bankrupted himself over weather when he doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, but I'm an idiot.
There's something extremely poetic the way Rob schools sportsmen. You know, you guys are paid for this shit. You better do this. You earn this to me, you fucker.
If I don't do my job, somebody's going to fire me, right?
Wicketless.
That's what's going to happen, or at least they're going to call me bad names.
Fair, that's fair.
You should have seen what betting offices were like back in the day, by the way, if you didn't do your job very well. It was just string of expletives and...
Oh, my God.
Drop for 6, right on schedule.
A drop catch for 6, straight through the hands of... Is that Namandir down there?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Straight to him. Lovely jubbly. Can't be bothered to put his hands together. Pretends he didn't see it.
It It
We'll
almost
see it
gave him
soon,
a
actually.
haircut, that drop.
Yeah. Crackers.
Oh my goodness.
That's the correct
Oh
noise.
my goodness.
Man's watching on a potato, but he's got the right reaction.
Oh. How do you do it's burst through his hands. It's gone through him.
Oi, look at this one.
That's a great shot. They're going for net run rate here as well. Shreyas just dumps this over long on. It was a length ball. It was there, but what a hit.
Are
Yeah, my
RCB
God,
playing
tier?
Punjab twice?
Once, if I'm not wrong.
Oh man, that's
Punjab, Rajasthan, Chennai, and I want to say Hyderabad. I think that's the grouping.
Okay.
Not Hyderabad, sorry. They play Hyderabad twice. I'm forgetting who it is. Oh!
That is a shot.
Oh.
That is a shot. Wow.
But that was in this slot again.
No, it
I don't know
was,
how
but
else to put it.
but
Yeah,
there's something
sure.
about Shreyas Iyer's clean hitting that sort
Yeah.
of is better than 99% of other people's clean hitting.
Oof.
Who's the cleanest hitter?
Pollard.
Cleanest hitter.
Tim David.
I do like
But is that
David.
clean? 'Cause
They're the most brutal. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
the cleanest, right?
Yeah, I know
How
what
do
you
you
mean.
define clean?
Oh my God, is he taking this catch?
Rajat.
Out on the boundary. He's dived forward and scooped this one up, and Shreyas has gone for 66 of 35. Game over, of course, but still.
Good pointless catch, but it has to be caught because Shardul's just gone 6-6 and he needs the over to be 1 for 16 or whatever, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course. Akshay says, will Sky be in the team next year? Yeah, I
In
think
which team?
I think people
Mumbai
have,
team.
I think people
Yeah,
have suddenly
Mumbai he'll
thought
be.
that Sky, because Sky's had a little bit of bad form, he suddenly can't. He's never been able to play cricket and is done. Like he's going to play next year. Ajika Rahane's still playing, my guys. Like
Sky is definitely going to play.
Abe says he's on Punjab for most sixes at 2.1. Rob.
Yeah, he's not the only one. But like me, he will not be picking up on that bet. But I assume anybody that's had a good look around at the markets today was on Punjab before the game at like 5-4 or whatever. But the side markets today have gone very badly. They've gone really, really well this IPL, but today has not been fun for those ones. I blame
Yep.
Chahal. That's who I blame. If he
Fair.
takes that catch, it all becomes a lot more fun.
Avi says Mumbai won the first match. I knew this season is doomed. I love that we know everything about Mumbai from the first game. McCroy says Iyer's going at a 30 ball 50, but it's not a talking point unlike the other night. Do we micro-analyze strike rates of players like VK, KL, and Gill? No, because it's all these things are, and you can throw Shreyas in there as well. It's all to do with the position of the game. They were massively ahead of this game. If he's striking at that rate and they're massively ahead of this game, it's not an issue. If Prab Simran went out and they'd lost a couple of quick wickets and he doesn't kick on, then it becomes the talking point. That's how these things work.
Yeah, because in this team, all right, they have a sub that they could have brought in, but Marco's either number 7 or number 8, and then it's a load of bowlers who aren't very good. So he had to stay. The thing is, in the chase, your job is to win the game. And in the first innings, your job is to score as many as you possibly can. So you can't muck about taking singles for 4 overs, which they actually did in the first innings. I kept saying it, like, why are they taking singles every ball hit? There was an over where Marco, who'd been spanked in his first over, came back, and all the field went back, and they didn't have any person stopping singles anywhere. And the bats both went, thank you very much, we'll take the 6 singles here, and they took 6 singles off the over. And it was like over number 15. That's when you should be teeing it, because they were 2 down with 3 down, with 2 set guys, Namandir and Quentin, and they just went, we'll take the ones. That's when you shouldn't do, because come the end of the innings, I'll say it again, they got the Rutherford entry point wrong. Come the end of the innings, they had left some out there, hadn't they? Their run line got up to what, 215 or something, and they ended up getting 195.
I can tell you, it got to 224, Rob.
Bloody hell! So it got to 2, and they were 70% to win this game at one point, Mumbai.
Yep.
So that
was without really losing wickets, right?
They were deferring risk when there was no risk. When you've got 8 wickets in hand and 2 set, you should be whacking. And if you look on our chat, I said it here, why aren't they trying to hit every ball for 6 here? And they got like 13 singles in a row at one point.
Yeah.
Like not in the middle of the innings, towards the end of the innings.
There was some good bowling as well, and the new bats did get stuck. But
They weren't trying to whack it, Jared. They weren't
Hey?
trying to whack it.
No, I agree. I think the Kock got tired, right?
He did. It's not his fault. He actually, I don't like Kock very much, but he actually played really well.
Yeah.
That's not what I've heard.
Lovely ball from Shardul on the trampoline there for his obligatory wide for the over.
Rake Jake says, just lost my entire family fortune due to Chahar. So what was that? That was the catch he didn't get down on the
catch
ground.
he didn't go
because he's
for,
got
yeah.
a Bumrah wicket, doesn't he?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What if he
Yeah.
never gets a wicket ever again? What then? What do we do then?
What are the odds on that?
I don't
Oh
know
my God, that's gone 15. That's gone maybe 7 meters over the batter's head, hasn't it?
Trampoline ball.
I saw the trampoline, but I didn't realize that. I thought it just went like 2 foot over his head, but that looks meters over.
Yeah, miles and miles. I'm very surprised they haven't reviewed that wide though. This is the time where the IPL loves to make this 11 or 27 take an hour. Just go 6-6 and get us all home. Questions to answer for Mumbai here, you know.
Yeah, that has gone more than a meter at least over his head. Yeah.
Wait a second. They actually took a timeout in advance when they needed like 15 of the last 5. They could have waited till the 16th over and get done with it, but no, they actually preponed it and took a timeout. What do you think that they actually discussed then?
They have to, because they're not timeouts; they're ad breaks.
Break.
No, but that's what they could have just waited till the end to get done with it. They've taken it before. Yeah.
Yesterday they didn't. Yesterday they could have taken it after 14 overs.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And we were very surprised that, how come there's no timeout? Because this match could end in an over, and that's what ended up happening. It did end.
Yeah. Thank God. We were waiting. Shepherd, ek chakka, just hit something. Thankfully, man went for it.
Yeah. Yesterday, that is, we are talking about the RCB versus LSG match.
Yep. Okay,
Yesterday just means any game that isn't on now.
Yeah. That's why I specified.
All right, Sankalp has an interesting one. Jar and Rob, favorite Indian food?
Dal.
Jar. All right. Oh,
Dal.
Yeah, by a mile.
any dal, or do you have a specific dal you like?
Yeah,
or
because
just-
there's a whole
I don't mind
variety of
sag dal, but probably just the I don't know if it has a specific name, but the yellow lentil dal.
Right.
Got it.
The red one
that
and the black one, it's fine, but it's not the same. The yellow one is next level.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very big on tandoori as well. I think tandoori is actually just legit one of the best cooking methods. Like if I understood how to do tandoori, I would cook anything. I would cook a sausage roll in tandoori.
fair.
I would cook fish and chips in tandoori. Like, I actually think I don't think tandoori has been fully exploited the way that it can be. What else do I like?
Butter chicken. That's usually a common. No.
No.
Chicken
like,
tikka masala.
I don't like
yeah.
any of the white ones, like butter chicken and chicken korma. All the
I
white
like-
ones I hate.
Hot bolties is what I like. That's what, and I like just any hot curries really. I used to have a real thing for spice. So, but in England, you have vindaloos and stuff, but it doesn't taste anything like the food. But I haven't been to India to answer the second bit of that question. Jared's going to fly me over to do a load of watch-alongs before the end of the IPL, which is nice of him. But I haven't been yet. I obviously will at some point. But Indian food, I probably eat as much Indian food as I do English food, and not at the same time as you might guess.
Do you cook it yourself then?
Yeah, I cook quite a lot of curries. Yeah, firstly, it's like a really easy thing to make when you're like me and you don't like throwing things away. I was brought up like that. Like you don't waste food, right? So if there's bits of chicken left, then it becomes a curry, or there's bits of anything left, really, it becomes a curry. So
you'd be a very good Indian son, Rob. That's what we are talking.
Yeah.
Like, can't
Same.
waste food.
Yeah, you can't waste it. And I'm now the dad, so things go full
Yeah.
circle. I'm now the dad, so I have to eat everything that's gone off as well. So
Yeah.
my diet consists of things that have gone off, leftovers from the girls in the family, and then making curries out of everything. But yeah, you can't beat a good curry. And as a very normal, normally aligned Englishman, like we just get fed loads of curry all our lives anyway.
Fair. What about Indian sweets, though? I mean, that's something I often hear, that it's too sweet for others, for non-Indians.
I mean, I didn't mind the Kolkata. The Kolkata sweets.
Got it.
But I don't really
Kolkata
like
has-
sweets in general. But I didn't mind those. I've brought those home for the family a few times. They go down pretty well at our house.
Kolkata has like a huge variety, and it's I also think it's
Those sort of powdery ones. Do you know the ones I'm talking about?
Mishti
Sandesh.
doi is there. There's Sandesh.
yeah. Sandesh, there's actually lots of Rasgulla. There's like a state war between Odisha and Kolkata and Bengal over who invented the Rasgulla.
Yep. Even with butter chicken, there's a court case going on.
really?
Who invented the butter chicken? Yeah, Moti Mahal versus there are two, Daryaganj. I'm forgetting the names of two restaurants. They both have filed a case against each other, saying we invented butter chicken.
See,
so we need
I
to
don't get
own.
that because I just don't get butter chicken. It's just Praveen says, "Could Shreyas Iyer be in the Indian Test team against Spain?" Yeah, and he's playing pace.
Iyer, no. The thing is, he has stepped back from red ball cricket because he had an injury. To manage his back, he stepped back from red ball cricket. He released a statement saying that his back is not going to withstand the rigors of 4-day games. So that's why he's taken a step back. So until he comes back, he can't come into the test team.
Code Noob says, Jared, do you know what Henry Olonga or Heath Streak are doing these days? Well, I've got some sad news about Heath Streak. He died 2 or 3 years ago. And on top of that, that was after he was involved in some fixing shenanigans as well. So he had a pretty sad end, and then got cancer, I think, didn't he? Liver cancer? Colon cancer, something like that.
Cancer.
Henry
He got
Olonga,
cancer of something. Yeah.
You know, he's on like singing shows now, Henry Long.
Yeah.
So
he
the
was a part
last-
of the Australian Voice or something.
I think, didn't he move to Adelaide, I want to say, Henry Olonga, and he became an opera singer, but he also does other kinds of singing as well. I've met him a couple of times. He seems really nice, but I don't know if he has like a day job as well as the singing.
Heat Streak, was he more victim than anything else in that whole fixing thing, or was?
Well, technically, all people involved in fixing it are the victims because the people who are actually doing it are not the it's the people well above the players, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he was the victim. I think he was, I think he was a willing participant in it.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and check it. But what's the running? There's a running joke about Zimbabwean cricketers that if you've met a white Zimbabwean cricketer, you've met an alcoholic, and that comes from Zimbabwean cricketers. That is not like I think there might have been might have got himself into a bit of a hole in other ways as well, unfortunately. But he died quite young. He was 49, I want to say, when he passed away. 50
I have
maybe?
very fond memories of Heat Streak, though. So good cricketer.
Let's have a look. He says here he never actually fixed games, but he did accept the ban. It was an 8-year ban, though.
Yeah.
And he did apologize and take full responsibility. I'm not sure he fixed games. I think he might have organized people to meet each other.
Got it. Yeah.
It's all the same thing. It's like when people say to you said match fixing and it's spot fixing. So they fixed a part of the match. All right, that's the end of this one. Punjab win by 7 wickets. Again, we thought there was potentially a possibility of a game at times today. There was not. Mumbai made 195 for 6 from their 20 overs, and Punjab won with 7 wickets remaining, 21 balls, and Prabh Simran played some incredible shots. He ended up on 18 not out of 39, and Shreyas Iyer made 66. And if you're coming here now just to get some Jasper Bumrah news, turn off the stream because he did not take a wicket and went for 41 runs in his 4 overs. We'll be back I have no idea who's on the podcast, but whoever's on the podcast with me in a moment will be back with me on the podcast. Whoever's not on the podcast with me in a moment will not be on the podcast. But a big thanks to Glenn, who was here earlier, Saurabh, Akshay, and Rob. And we'll be back again tomorrow for more Combox Watchalongs.
Combox. The game lives on.